Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, with another episode of VSW. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. But please now, I have a few things to say. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner. Welcome to the VSW's Holiday Special. I welcome you. And thanks you everyone that has supported the VSW podcast since day one. It's been a wild ride this year. We've been across the country watching independent wrestling, covering independent wrestling. We made a lot of contacts, made a lot of friends. We've done a lot of interviews. We've come a long way on our YouTube. We've come a long way on our social media platforms. We've done a lot, and we had a lot of fun doing it. And that's what it's all about, folks. Doing things that you enjoy, and that doesn't make it hard. That makes it a passion. That makes it enjoyable, and it makes it things succeed. Um, and without Disabled Wolf, honestly, I have to say half of it. He's the other half of this podcast. He helps me. We run this thing. We go to shows. If I'm sick or something happens, he's been able to go to shows for me. Also, he helps me cover things when we're at the shows. We're taking photos, doing videos, writing notes. I really do appreciate him. Thank him. This has been a wild ride for us this year. A lot of firsts. We launched this podcast early in the year, and it's kind of just a testing ground. Talk about independent wrestling. We didn't know where it was gonna go, and it went pretty far. And what we have in store is gonna go even further. So I can't really wait. And I just want to talk, a little bit tonight. We're gonna have Disabled obviously is gonna be joining us really soon as well. Actually, let's give him a call right now and let's talk to him.
Disabled here.
Welcome. I was just telling everybody, just how appreciative I am of you. Just how much you've helped this year. Since we started, we took a risk in the beginning of the year with the VSW. We didn't know what it was going to do, where we were going to go with it. We just kind of started talking independent wrestling and sports. And from there, it's grown into the monster house that is today, and with even more things to come next year. So, I mean, I really can't wait. Like I said, it's been a wild ride with you, brother. I really thank you for all the hard work and dedication that you have put into this. It means a lot because this is something that I've really been wanting to do for a while. Then COVID happened, and we kind of had to work around all of that, and we did. We finally found a way, and we worked around it. And no matter now how things go and what direction COVID takes it, we're kind of prepared now at the VSW to be able to continue to provide the entertainment, provide the content that people want to see and need.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you, Versace, for being a great partner. Without your stunning graphics and knowledge of wrestling, I wouldn't be where I am because people know me as my real name, as you heard it with my friend Joe from Tennessee, who used to live in our hometown. When he moved here to Massachusetts, said, and you can ask anyone else in our town, they all knew, like, didn't you want to do a sports podcast for a while? And I'm like, yeah, but like I didn't realize I would love independent wrestling like I did love WWE all these years, but
No, and
I've
that's the
never
thing,
real
it's been a big year because we started I think going to independent wrestling at around 2000. I don't know, maybe 17 or 18.
weren't dedicated. Like we went to an NCW show
It
here and
was
there.
okay, but it took me a minute to figure out who everybody was. That was the issue. I didn't know who anybody was, and I
That
didn't
was
really.
my big issue, is because I
And
was shy at the time. I didn't know how to enjoy myself.
You
You
know,
got to know
I
those
knew
guys.
big guys. Don't get me wrong. I knew big guys. I knew names. I had seen some matches. I had been to some shows here and there, but I didn't, follow it like I do today. I didn't
Like
follow the
I
guys
went to a
around.
chaotic show here and there, and they actually did a wall fam show years ago outside.
I
But
remember
like
that. I
I
remember
didn't
that a
know
long,
anything
long time
about it.
ago.
Problem
And
with indie wrestling is it's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but if you're not familiar with it, it's very easy to get lost. And I've kind of realized how we can start this for beginners who've never been to a show before. I think some of the promotions we cover are perfect for people getting into indie
Oh, they
wrestling.
are. I mean, if you're just getting into wrestling or you coming back from a huge hiatus of watching wrestling, if you jump into any of these brands that we talk about, like Chaotic, Limitless, you'll
And
see it's very easy to follow along. Now, granted, we got kind of lucky in a sense, in my opinion, that we got lucky, and that is with um, the pandemic. Unfortunately, took away professional wrestling from us. We,
yeah,
didn't have any shows. We didn't have anything except whatever WWE was running. Then AEW ran some stuff, and that's just is what it is. But independent scene was gone, and it happened like overnight. I went to that NCW opener in
and I was supposed
2020
to go to their Rhode Island show with you
the
the
next
next
night,
day.
and it was done. It was canceled out, and that was it. And it was done. We never went to no shows. Main Limitless. We were supposed to see Chris Stat versus Anthony Green for the main title. First they were capping the limit on fans. The next thing I know, canceled, done, and that was it. There was no more wrestling after that for a very long, long time. I wouldn't actually go back until we went till Beyond, and
That was over a year.
yeah, it was. And during that time, all the promotions kind of scrambled, I think, and they figured out finally a way, and we started to see tapings. And with that, we learned a whole lot about the independent scene, and I think that's where you really fell in love. Watching shows like The Road, Unloaded,
Reloaded.
Behind Closed Doors. It got you to learn people from, Limitless, Chaotic, and NCW. You know, having to be able to watch and sit back and watch the Proving Ground shows where you were able to learn about people like, the Dirt City Murder Crew and
Tony
Corinne Mink
Spencer.
and other people that were on their roster that you just didn't have time before unless you went to a live show. We had time to sit back, learn about things, and it kind of slowed down the pace of wrestling, but it gave us a chance to kind of grasp and grab at something. And that's really, I think, when we started to really podcast things. When we had all these weekly shows to cover, we had a lot to talk about, but it was easy to watch. It was easy to follow along, and it got you to really um, I think get to know these guys enough to say, hey, when these things come back, I want to see these people live. I want to come in live and watch
I
this.
was very excited, but if you remember, I was just like one of those fans that was into it. I just went along with what people. Now I'm starting half these crazy chants more than you.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I fell in love with
And
the freaking indie scene.
it's been great. It's been like I said, a wild ride here at the VSW. From the beginning to the end. We started off covering even what we covered has changed. I mean, we always covered the independent scene, and we've always covered the sports, but when we first started, we were also very much into the WWE wrestling scene.
Yeah,
And I'm not gonna go here and down it. I'm not gonna say, WWE sucks. Don't fucking watch that garbage. It's trash. I'm not one of those negative fans. I don't see that being beneficial to wrestling as a whole. By me telling you that a brand sucks, it just is what it is. If it's not your flavor, then it's not your flavor. There's
I
plenty
also
of
don't
people.
like the whole Sammy Guevara Ty Conti situation right now. That really makes me sad as a fan.
Well, what happened with that?
You know how Sammy announced that he was remember in an AEW episode in his hometown in Houston a few months, 6 months ago, right when they were back touring from Jacksonville, as he proposed to his longtime girlfriend in front of the fans, and they publicly announced they broke up a few months ago, but they announced it like 5 days ago or something. And if you watch Sammy Guevara's vlogs, he has Fuego del Sol with him Marco Stunt, he also has Ty Conti with him, and people assume that he was cheating on his girlfriend with Ty Conti, and they attacked Ty Conti to the point where she got off Twitter. All the fans.
Well, I mean, let me ask you a question.
Not
I
right.
mean, let me ask you a question. What is this like big stigma about a man and a female being friends, hanging out?
If
All
these
my
people stepped out of their asses, got out of their beds, and went to a live indie show, they realize there's plenty of guys and girls that are great friends, you
first
know?
of all, not to mention, I mean, me myself personally can speak. For a while, a long time, and not due to any reason other than like the just craziness of the person, like in just the situation and just not being right and me starting a family. Like for the longest time, my best friend was a female. Um, and I still had a relationship. I still had my girlfriend. Like I wasn't cheating on my girlfriend. Like things, you can be a man and be best friends with a woman, female, and not, have to have it go to that sexual level. There is a maturity about it where things, you can be friends. And in the wrestling world, guess what? You're training together constantly. You're going through the same thing. You don't think these people are friends with each other? They most certainly definitely are. If you trained with somebody at New England Pro Academy, guess what? You're part of that family and you're friends. You
Same
don't
as
think
the
you see these
Limitless
people
Dojo.
go and travel to shows together. Does that mean they're dating? No, that does not. You know. And I think, that's where the major fan base loses their mind a little bit. Like, I mean, for instance, put it this way: when I went to the lab, I noticed in whatever intermission it was during whatever taping, Love Dog and Becca traveled together. They left together. Were they dating? No, absolutely not. Are they friends? Yep. And as an independent fan, I just looked at it and said, cool, they're traveling together, traveling buddies. Like, cool. Two of my like favorite wrestlers are traveling together. That's awesome. On a major level, people would see, oh my god, they must be dating, they must be going out, this must be happening, that must be happening. And that I think is where people, like I said, they lose their mind in the major scene. And it is a sad situation when you see wrestlers get bullied to the extent that they have to leave social media. People don't understand social media is a lot more than just a voice for a lot of these athletes. It is a payday. It is a way to get paid. It is a way to promote whatever they're doing, whether it's YouTube, Twitch, however else they're making their side money besides wrestling. They need that outlet to be able to share, to be able to, show what they're working on. And if you keep running them out, they have no outlet to share this stuff to. It's not fair. It's not right. And I hate seeing it. 2021. I mean, for the most part, was a better year in professional wrestling than 2020, I would say.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we did see more speaking out incidents. We did see more names and people, famous referees and such. And we have nothing as bad as I don't think as bad was mentioned as last year. But there was some pretty nasty things being mentioned, and we had some other instances. But overall, I feel like it's been better, even on the major scene. But things like this kind of snap it back to like, you know, what what do we want? What are we doing? I mean, as a fan base, and then it also goes back to, I mean, what is your fan base? I mean, are
Absolutely.
they kids? Are they kids? Are they adults? Are they what? But also, I mean, there has to be. I mean, I get it. There has to be. I don't know. I mean, there's no easy answer. There has to be a middle ground. A barrier between fans and wrestlers, so this kind of thing doesn't happen. But there also has to be a safe and you know somewhat easy way for fans to be able to engage with their favorite superstars and fans. And because not every fan is a negative person. Not every fan is out to you know, start trouble and gain clout off ruining a name or trying to gain the next traction. by ripping you apart because you made a poor joke or whatever it is that you've done. Not everybody is like that. There is some decent people in this, a lot of decent people in this industry, and even on the outskirts of the industry, like what we do, podcasting and all that are about building up the scene and not so much tearing it down.
So
And that was what really launched VSW in the beginning and it differentiated it between other podcasts, and that was the positivity.
absolutely, we've done a pretty good job doing that, and allowed me to shine and become a huge fan. And we're giving these guys a lot of spotlight. Look at someone like Love Doug and John Alba. We give those guys so much attention.
We do, we really do. And it's for a good reason though, because that's like again why I started VSW podcast. I was going to these shows, NCW, you know, watching shows on TV, IWTV. I was seeing things and seeing like great wrestling, low ticket sales, at some time points, and no talk of product. Very little talk. And I'm just like, I could do something. We should be talking about this. We should be talking about these shows. Let's build these things up, and let's talk about people like Dick Lane, Pimp Daddy, Apple Cinnamon, Isana, and I started with those three just because, um, they were some people that really stuck out in 2020 to me as outstanding individuals, and the way they presented themselves, and just all the craziness, and with all the crazy actions in the world and everything, they really just kind of became kind of role models and just kind of took social justice to themselves, but in their own way. But I can look up to these people today, and I can say, not only are they great wrestlers, they're good individuals and good people out there. And then from
That's
that,
how
it's
I'm really how you feel about a NCW is what I'm feeling with Chaotic and all those students. I'm really warming up to guys like Brad Cashew, Mortar, and everyone who I didn't know too much at the beginning of the year. You know what I mean?
exactly, and
Did you?
from that love of those guys, it spiraled into things like chaotic and learning about people like Brad Cashew. I saw Cashew a little bit before the pandemic. Um, under another name a little bit, and I didn't see Love Doug. I didn't see a Becca. Yeah, actually, no, I lied. I saw Becca right at the end. Well, the beginning of the pandemic. It's the last NCW show, but I
And
didn't.
that's another example of Florissant. She's become a superstar, and she barely had any exposure before the pandemic.
She has, and let's jump into when we're speaking that. Let's talk about our first award that I kind of want to talk about of people flourishing. And I want to kind of give out these. Now, mind you, these awards are just kind of this year, are kind of thrown together. Some of them funny, some of them are going to be quite, not so. I'm not saying not funny, but not serious. But you know what I mean. They're
Exactly.
all legit awards. But next
And
year we're going to be doing.
before we go into that, Versace, I am gonna hand out at the end of our awards a Wolf Award. It's someone that stands out to me. You probably might know. Yeah, it's somewhat of an underdog type of wrestler, and you have to be very hilarious at the same time.
Oh, that's great, and that's wonderful. And we're gonna have all sorts of categories and fun little things. But what I was saying is, this year it's kind of thrown together. Next year it's gonna be a little bit more, and that's what I
And
want to
we're
talk
gonna
about
work with
because
the promoters. I want a limitless category, NCW chaotic category at least.
exactly,
You know,
like I was talking to you earlier about and things. I think I want to do, a virtual, independent magazine. It's great that we have this, great YouTube. It's great that we do these podcasts. But I was thinking, what else do we got to do? We got all these photos, we got all this stuff. Why don't we put it all together, in a monthly or a bi-monthly magazine that would be online, PDF format, and it will, cover the shows that we've been to. We'll have results of shows we haven't been to. We'll have articles, by us, friends of ours, other people that we know in the industry. They can
We
contribute. They can contribute their fan photos,
we
that
got
they're
people
taking.
that love to live in the South Shore that we don't get to go to often.
Exactly, but we will have the results of all the shows in New England, all in a nice, easy, simple place. And I think we should launch that. It'd be nice for the VSW. We could have an award section at the end of the year, like PWI. We could do our own rankings at some point. It would be a wonderful, asset, I think, to
We
this
can do a
community.
view award for all. This year we had people that really thrived. We're really surprised how well our YouTube is doing, but next year make the views count.
We're gonna do that. We're gonna make it count, And like I said, with that and like a magazine coming out, I think it will show people, we are dedicated. There is more to wrestling than just the wrestling. We can have great interviews. We can put out, some behind the scenes stuff where we're allowed to, and we can
I
have.
definitely want to do another podcast pay per view like Cruising for a
And
Bruising.
that's another thing we need to talk about. What a year, and that was just an amazing time. Was um, cruising for a bruising. We went all over the place, all the way down to Kansas, all the way up to
Canada.
Canada, and we saw some of the greatest wrestlers out there. We met them all, you know, and it was such motivation to do another show, and we just kind of got sidetracked with a whole bunch of other stuff. But yes, we do need another show like that as well, and we got to meet all the stars. And speaking of stars, that's what it is titled Starflight. It will be sometime early 2022. Um, and similar like last time, although this time I do not know what the prize will be. Something special, something miraculous, something great. I do know that. I just can't say what.
Me neither, Versace, but I was thinking for Starflight, want to use a mix of low tire, high tire guys and mid tire guys. I
Oh
don't want,
yeah.
no offense to these guys listening, but I don't want all low tire guys because
Well, how
you
do you
know what
know
I
all
mean?
low tire guys are listening, buddy? I mean, how can you just assume that? That's kind of rude. You don't know who's listening to this
Rude.
right now.
Oh, yeah.
You might have just turned away, JT Gunn and AG Green.
What are
You
you
know,
talking?
you don't know what you just done. You don't know who's listening.
They're our new boss now, JT Dunn.
Yeah, they are. They're KFX new boss. And a lot of things are going to change over there. If people want, they can listen into our chaotic recap. We did that last
It was
night.
a fun night. The best way to cap off a show. It is the best way if you can't go to any more shows for the rest of the year. That chaotic final flight was a perfect ending to it.
It sounds like it. And like I said, you told me all the action last night, a bunch of surprises. Everybody can listen to that live on our show that was done last night. So, back to our kind of holiday special yearly ending. Like I said, we met a lot of good people on Cruising for a Bruising, and some of them inspiring stars. We've also, from that, also got some other, we've had a lot of great talent actually on this show. Some funny people, some serious people, some people now that are like, champions. A few people that are actually champions. I would even say hooligans. We had
Ooh.
both of them on our podcast at one point, talking independent wrestling. We had Isana. We've had, all the
We
cruising for a bruising people, of
we
course.
had Mike Montero.
Mike Montero. I'll talk to cruising for a bruising after. I was thinking about non-cruising. We had your
That's what I'm
bestest.
saying. Yeah, Mike
We had your
Montero.
bestest friend in the whole wide world, John Alba.
John Van Vliet Versat. Oh, I botched again.
My goodness, the prestigious in your voice. You just can't get it right. And we had my best friend Sydney Baca Bella on here. We had
Sydney
another good friend of mine
Baka
out of
Bella.
Philadelphia, Big Dan, baby.
Big
Dan,
Dan, baby.
Dan Champion. We also had Abs.
Oh, wow, talk about a body and physique of a god.
He was fun. We've had a bunch of great interviews.
Even had
Um,
guys from Colorado.
yeah, we had that bully from Colorado area out there. We had
A manager named JD.
he was fun too. We in Team JD, and I see he was been doing big things. If you follow him on Facebook or his friend, you can always see him with photos. I saw him with some dealings with Jimmy Hart not too long ago.
Oh, good for him. We
Yeah,
also
so
had what's his face, Versace. We also had said Isana, I said Mike Montero. We also had a lot of guys coming into our show for interviews. Bryce Donovan, one
oh
half of the
yeah, we had Bryce Donovan, one half of the Shook Crew. That was another great interview. And then we had the loose cannon himself, Ray Ranson.
oh yeah. And I was so shocked with the numbers he did for our before we you had YouTube Live and knew how to utilize the podcast. I didn't expect more than 3 views from him because some people we only did get like 3 views a listen back then.
Yeah, I mean, cruising for a bruising taught us. Well, didn't really teach us, but just kind of surprised me in a lot of ways. Even though Ray was prior to that, and he got us into the world of reunion wrestling.
Oh
I
yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to
I think
say.
we
Well,
spent way too much time in that world for what we're doing.
yeah, that led to the world of KPW, and
And I think everyone knows how I feel about that. You just watch our free for all.
yeah, we heard your story of, and we heard how exactly your sentiments on that. So, but on cruising for a bruising, we had other guys though like Tough Daddy, T.J. Tucker.
Hmm.
But we also had like Steve Savage, Ricky Medeiros.
Ricky Madera. We had wait for it, Luke Duke.
We had him. We had one of the greatest champions, and still is reigning champion,
Oh, I
and
think
that
I know who you're talking about, Versace.
is oh, that's right, the Granite State
State
champion,
champ, the Bay
Tony
State
Spencer,
champion.
Tough Talk himself. You know,
He
I
thought we were
became a
stupid for asking why he thinks he deserved the title.
he's another guy. I became a super fan of his. I saw him in early 2020 at about 1 week before that NCW show at a Watertown show run by Delilah Hayden and some others. It was Outlaw Championship Wrestling. And in the main event of the evening, now mind you, I got into this because I did see those three: Dick Lane, Pimp Daddy Apple Cinnamon, and Isana being announced for
Didn't you meet
Watertown.
Dirtbag Dan?
Dirtbag Dan was there. I met him for the first time, as well as Crispin Coles, another great wrestler. But the main event came out. P. Dak came out with a man, and I didn't know who he was, anything about him. His name was Tough Talk Tony Spencer. He would not capture the gold there, as you can hear the story in our interview, but I became a super fan of his. Like, I have to say, I bought in every shirt, I think. Uh, Whatever else this dude sells. We talk a lot. He hits me up sometimes, funny memes, cool stories. We got to see that great matchup he did at that proving ground. What was that?
It
The
was
black
during that
box.
SummerSlam show.
Yep. And he was just a hoot. Always is. I know he's not everyone's cup of tea, but he's definitely for us.
We're a unique type of T Versace.
We are.
We
We
tend to
are.
like the humor.
We are. We also had on that show. We also had Insane Dick Lane.
He's another original founding father of VSW, I'd like to say,
And
in
we
terms
met,
of getting us
well,
into indie
what was
wrestling.
our good friend way up in Canada? We met him.
Cameron
Yep,
Stevens.
Cameron, the Steel Panther, Cameron
They'll pay.
Stevens. And then we met another great friend and asset to the VSW, Rodney Bays, the Rodfather.
I cannot wait to meet this guy. He is awesome.
Oh, yeah, he is.
He always seems to have your back, Versace, kind of like the bodyguard of the VSW.
Oh, for sure, and I can't wait for Bay's Bash. That's going to take place in Kansas. It's going to be next year. It's going to be a wrestling show, obviously. We're going to do our best to help it, promote it, and, co host it with him. So that should be another fun and exciting thing to look forward
So
to.
we're gonna do what we thought we wanted to do with KPW. So we have like a tone people that are like our Tony Khan, and we're like the network of the elite. You know what I mean?
Similar to that, yes. And, we will bring some people down or see who wants to come down. I don't know. He's bringing people from all in and all out. We're going to get more into that as the more closer it gets.
But this is a big deal for the VSW trying to launch her out of New England expansion.
Exactly. And it will be a lot of fun. I personally can't wait. So, we had a lot of interviews, like I said. He actually won. Oh, and don't forget, we also had the superhero on our show.
The Mighty Botch.
Yes. And he was another one. He was almost ready to win, cruising for a bruising, when out of nowhere Rodney Bays come bombing out and just blew away the competition, winning the cruising for a bruising championship. Which, if we can, we will make that an actual title. Let it be defended. Let it be, shown off. Give it to Rodney. He does deserve it.
Absolutely, or maybe kind of like the diamond ring too. He could be a trophy just for Rodney. Like to do something like that.
Yep. So, this will be it was out of nowhere, but with all the people thrown into the mix, everybody into it. Who would you say is the best VSW interview?
The best one we had,
Yep,
I'd have to say the Sydney Bacabella one.
I am gonna agree with you there 100%. And the award for the best interviewee is going to Sydney Bacabella.
Sydney Bacabella.
Look at that, folks. I have an echo. But yes, and I have to agree, that was a great episode. It was a lot of fun. He might have threatened a girl with a gun on her birthday, but that's
We're the
Sydney. If you don't
VSW
know
version.
Sydney, then he's another one. You don't get him. This guy though, he was great. He got us, we got him. It was a very easy talk, and I think to be honest with you, I can't. I would actually have him on again anytime, anytime at all. Sydney could come and talk wrestling with me because the guy knows what he's talking about. Not only does he, know about the modern day. Obviously, he does the Beyond commentary, so he knows all
Commentating.
the guys' ins and outs. He also manages a few of them. We've seen him up there, Limitless. You know, you just saw him in Chaotic, so he knows about those guys. Not only does he knows about them, but this guy has been, like I said, Andre's driver. He knows
He
all about those guys and the territorial
he
guys.
knows how dangerous it was partying with the Von Erichs.
He knows the Von Erich partying days. He knows Vern Gagnon. He knows all these people. and he got all that
WWF
knowledge.
Hall of Famer. And
He
that
is.
man loves his money, Versace.
Sure does. And he knows how to make it. And, honestly, that's why I said he could come on the show anytime, talk pro wrestling, talk any topic of pro wrestling. He knows what he's talking about. And I like people that know what they're talking about.
No, we had a lot of people interviews. I don't want to say names specifically that just got so shy and felt like they didn't feel prepared because they felt they had to be scripted. You can just be yourself. You can make stuff up about yourself. We don't care at the VSW Versace.
No, I mean, while kayfabe is alive and well, I mean, just be yourself. We're not here to judge you. We just, half of the time I'm stoned and out of space, dude. You
The
know what I
time we're
mean?
just
Like, and
looking
if you're
for a
and
laugh.
if you're keeping up with the Versace stoner, you're gonna be pretty high and out of space too. Now, let's talk about three people that came in like third place or I don't know. There's some nominate like I think some people that could have won that came close to it. Obviously, the Rodfather came close. He gave us a great interview. He was a lot of fun.
Know who
Uh,
gave us a great interview in Cruising for a Bruising too? Was TJ Tucker.
TJ Tucker gave a really great interview. I just loved his raw style, and just how he kind of just, threw it together with, I know people don't like his language so much, but for me, I don't really find it a problem because it fits him well. But I had also a lot of fun with like Alec Price.
That was another interview because he had to switch it so many times. I couldn't be there for when you guys were finally able to get a date.
It was, and but I did do it, and I'm like, well, like in cruising for a bruising, when you fell asleep a few times at the rest stops and so forth, and you went off to that store, um, and that whole
Okay.
thing in Canada, but I just took it and it was fine. I do wish you were there for Alec Price, even though at the time you probably were not you weren't the fan that you are of Alec Price then than you are now, but you would have still enjoyed the interview a lot.
As I watched it, I thought you guys did a pretty great job. He was happy to be there. He really wanted to be with us. Like you could tell it in his the way he was talking. He had the energy. He was himself.
Oh yeah, it was a great interview, and I would throw that in there. We had a great time also with Love Doug.
Oh, I loved that interview. It was very funny.
Was You had a great time with um well, it was starting to be a great time until you mentioned Van Vliet, but John Alba. I mean,
It was
you
a great
know,
interview with Al, but like he was, I feel like half kayfabe, half non kayfabe.
back when we had you know we had Pantry running the social media. He reached out to a few people and got us into it, and so we got to hear from Albert, and he reached out. We didn't really know him too much well up, but all we knew was he had something big planned
And
for
it
the
turned
road.
out to be the formation of the prestigious
It was the formation, and we got to see Mac Daniels, the main attraction, alongside you know
BRG and
BRG
Shannon
and Channing
Thomas.
Thomas, and they were already prestigious, or the Prestige rather. And they all joined together, and it was a pretty
The
big
thing
deal.
with John Alba, we've become kind of like the Animaniacs, and he's Doctor Do. Because the thing he doesn't do well is he gets so horrified at us when we make mistakes in his mind. Like he gets so upset. Like it's hilarious. Like
Oh
when I
yeah,
mentioned the Chris Van Vliet thing, I wasn't even trying to be to getting them going. I was just because I saw stuff on Twitter that people compared the two.
no, I know, and yeah, you didn't know that you were gonna have that effect on this guy, and He was insulted right off the bat. He just
Now we have to just go with it. We say hi to the guy, he'll get insulted.
he won't talk to us. He avoids us. He avoids us like the plague. A lot of people do avoid us. That will be our next category, avoidance.
Oh
But
yeah.
he does avoid us at all costs. I had, well, no, actually, no. Randy Carvey Jr. had to kind of squeeze his arm a little to take a photo with me. He wasn't too happy about it. But, and then at one point, I think he called us mutants.
Oh yeah, big time. But he called the whole town of Yarmouth mutants too,
He
not
did,
just
but
us.
then he said you guys were the specific mutants I was talking about when I went over to try to get the photo. So, on that second show when he came back, he wouldn't even look you in the eye when he
I know.
came
Hi,
out.
John. He's like, get away.
When he came out to his final match of the year against Davian and her team, he wouldn't even look you in the eye.
I
And you
know.
know what's even worse about that? We sponsored that match for him.
I know.
It was his big chance to do something in the wrestling world. We threw down the cash. We sponsored the match. And the guy wouldn't even thank you, didn't even look you in the eye, didn't say nothing, you know. We also sponsored Anthony Green and Daniel Garcia at that show. And Anthony Green said to you, hey, thanks for the sponsorship. You know, he shook our hands.
But the other guy, on the other hand, he could be a category for that avoidance award.
Oh, he will be in that too. Daniel Garcia. He's another one that avoids us like the plague. But what I'm saying is John Alba never he could have said, hey, thank you guys too. He probably headed back to Florida. BRG is another one that will avoid you, but not just us. He avoids everyone. You gotta
He
stay to
gives
the
me the special interaction.
I one time caught him in like the middle of the show of NCW. He was really tired. He was gonna take a picture. I wanted to take a picture. He wasn't gonna do it. Brutal Bob Evans was there. He was selling merch and stuff and figures and magazines and all that stuff. He goes, "Yo, take a picture with the kid, will you?" Big took the photo. He wasn't happy at all. You know, if you
But
yeah,
to be fair, he's never happy.
he never is. the The key to seeing BRG, you gotta stay to the very end of the show because he'll keep peeking out till almost everybody's gone. He's like MJF, like he just doesn't like the fans. So he'll wait till almost everybody's gone and then he'll come out. If you wait that long and then come out, then you can grab him. Also, if he's selling merch, you can grab him. I've seen him sell merch at NCW, and I haven't seen him come out at Limitless before. Have you?
No, I've never have.
No, you just go like I said. I'm only at the end of the night. Like if you're there, like after 45 minutes, he'll like pop his head out and see. But so you have these people that avoid us, and you know I just don't get it. I don't know why, but I am gonna say I think, in my opinion, the number one, and we put this guy over a lot, and we really did, and it's gonna go to Daniel Garcia.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. The last time we did see him his match, he did talk to us, but that was about it. Like all the times you tried to message him, we liked, said good things about him. When he was on AEW Rampage with CM Punk, he was main event in that Rampage in his debut in Chicago, the historic first dance. Like he didn't even acknowledge us or anything.
But yeah, and you can't even say like we were just kind of casual fans. You know, I supported Red Death in the era of his championship as soon as he beat Christian
We saw him
Casanova
fight a
for it.
kick-ass match with Wheeler Yuta in that sauna for over an hour at the
We
H2O.
drove all the way. I bought that IWTV ticket for him, and we drove all the way out there. What 7 8 hours?
Yeah,
And to sit in a 300-degree sauna. But you know, like I said, you know, he was somebody that I saw once he beat Christian Casanova. I really kind of fell for this dude. He was our limitless champion. He was here to stay. You know, he had great matches. JD Drake, a few times. We've
him
sponsored a
his
few of the
match,
ma- We
frankly,
sponsored a few of the
awesome.
matches. We saw him face AG a few times.
Twice.
Once he beat, when that first show back, second show back rather, and the first show back, AG was kind of a tease. If you remember, actually, Prestigious came out to their song,
I remember
to
that.
his song. But yeah, Danny just doesn't acknowledge us on social media. Yes, in person he would say hi, and there was a few times he was another one that kind of ducked and avoided the fan base, and then he finally got like some T-shirts. He was having
But he had
Blackwood
Blackwood
sell.
sell it for him.
He would having Blackwood sell it for him, and then like people were like, "Yo," I remember asking him like, "Can you do PayPal? Can you do this? Can you do that?" And he was like, "I don't know. I can't do any of that." I was just like, "Eh." And finally, I started seeing Danny selling his own merch and coming out, and I was like, "Oh, this is cool." So at the end of the shows, he started coming out, and I remember the like second to last show he came out, he signed something, signed the ticket, took the photo with me. He kind of recognized me from social media, but he never will publicly say anything. You could tweet about him and whatever, and I don't even think he will like the status. He might have liked two of my statuses in the whole time. I believe he followed me too for like a couple of days. He did. He followed me on Twitter just to unfollow me. Um,
That I never knew.
yeah, he did. For a little bit, he was following me, which was pretty cool because he was the Limitless World Champion. I could see AG unfollowing me. He went to WWE. Um, but I don't know. Garcia was still in Limitless when he unfollowed me. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. But I would give that award to him. He's avoided us the most, and we probably, like I said, we've sponsored a few of his matches. We put him over. We've never said anything bad. I think he's one of the greatest champions in Limitless history. He's one of the most technical superstars in today's day. I was actually shocked that he didn't leave Jersey with that IWTV title.
I'm shocked he hasn't won that title.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't believe it, but it was, right down to the end. It went to the whole hour distance. You'd have never tapped, and what a match that was. And we saw him in a lot of great matches this year.
Oh, a lot of great matches. Some of the ton.
So, I mean, but like I said, we've been to a lot of shows. We've been to Jersey. We've been out there to the IWTV 100, which was an amazing showcase of talent. Seeing people like Orange Cassidy, who kind of jump started a little bit
Same
the
as
indie
Chris
scene for you,
Statlander.
and Chris Stat too, and these both kind of jump started everything. When we saw them at Please Come Back,
One of my
you know,
favorite indie events I've ever went to. I love the venue, love the seating.
that was an amazing Beyond show. I had such a good time at that event, and it introduced me to a whole bunch of people that I just didn't really know, and some other faces coming back that I kind of didn't see for a while, like MSP, and who I had seen in NCW years prior, but hadn't seen them again in NCW, and then hadn't been to Limitless yet, so it was good to see them there and beyond. And we saw people like
Josh Briggs,
yep, we saw Josh Briggs, Anthony Green,
Christian
you know,
Casanova,
MLK.
whatever it takes.
Yep. Bear County, the rep. We saw these great
Amazing
tag teams,
match.
and now today we would be like, we know them very well. At the time, we probably didn't even know who they were,
I
which is
know.
kind of funny. All these people that came out. Now we probably would know them all. We probably fans them all if we were to rewatch that show.
It really got me to love indie wrestling and want to start to go.
I actually might rewatch that show later tonight when I have to like watch my nightly wrestling. I've been trying to find things to watch that have been kind of like different. And I remember that show. There was a lot of good matches on that show, and we became friends with a lot of great wrestlers. I think from there. What's his name? I know he's injured now, but
TJ
he,
Crawford.
he took a little bit of a liking to us from that. I feel, and we took a liking to him when we saw him face off against Christat. And it also gave us some confidence in our YouTube skills as we were able to kind of get our numbers a little bit up there with these videos of some tremendous wrestling.
We also saw Big Dan.
That was another amazing person to see live. It was like he it was
It was
very
his first Beyond
he was
show.
very appreciative of the posts app, and that's what I wanted to say about this show and the wrestlers on this show and beyond wrestlers in general. I actually haven't met someone that hasn't been, unless it's just the way they are very, 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 very receptive and like and socially receptive to fans. They'll interact. They're very appreciative. If you've ever live tweeted a Beyond show, they'll all retweet you. The wrestlers, are very friendly. You can get to know them. You can get to know people like Ted Goods, Becca, um, even people like the Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson. He'll talk to
Masha
you at a show,
Slamovich.
and they'll retweet your tweets. They'll talk to you at a show. Masha Slamovich is another one. I got to meet her and talk to her on social media, and she's another one that's been is really nice and outside of that squared circle. So that's one thing. Beyond really opened the eyes up, and Drew Cordera does a great job, kind of keeping it going. I have to say he's overcome a lot of adversity this year. Unfortunately, America Rana had tremendous bad luck with the weather, and things look down and out. And this dude bangs out stronger than ever, coming out with some heavy hitting shows like Feet and others, and launching his Uncharted Territory again. He's going to be doing another promotion. He's got Restable at the end of the year kind of set up with a bunch of promotions coming out to Worcester, H2O Center, Limitless.
I think the Russellville concept is an amazing idea, but unfortunately, to my prior family commitments and like a wedding, I won't be able to go to that big New Year's Eve show that I heard. It's like the big show of the year, like Americana, Heavy Lies the Crown. But I just wish it was one weekend in the summer they do that.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me as well, but I have obviously a lot of family engagement to do
Yeah,
with the
same.
kid and all, but it will be good for the fans. It'll be great for the people that don't get to go up to Maine to see Limitless or can't get up to Maine to see Limitless.
I'm
And
hoping we get to. I'll probably find out day of, depending on how I feel. I'd really thank God the time's late at night on New Year's Day, as I'm thinking of wanting to go to support Randy Carver and all them.
oh yeah, we'll see how we will do with that. But you know, like I said, that kind of kick started us off into the right direction. That Please Come Back show when we got into that, and we would continue to kind of follow that path, and we went to Beyond Championship Wrestling, which was actually a double header with
The
Evolve,
last
which
ever Evolve show.
we
Who would
didn't
ever
know at the
thought we went?
time. We didn't know at the time, but it would be the last ever Evolve show.
It
We
was
saw
the first
and
time I met one of our good wrestling friends that you met, Mashup Wrestling.
yep, that was the first time I believe you met Mashup down there.
Yeah.
He sent you off into space for that show.
Oh yeah, to,
Um,
much faster than Elon Musk could have done.
oh yeah, and I really believe that 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 was another kind of eye-opening show. We got to see some pretty great evolved talent. Anthony Green versus um, Mansoor from WWE.
Yeah,
We saw other people, Josh Briggs, and a whole bunch of people, and that have either moved on and back and on. Like as you know, Josh Briggs is now in NXT. Anthony Green got picked up by WWE, and he was on 205 Live as August Gray for a while. Then they kind of got rid of 205 Live. He got let go. He's now the alternative coming back. The alternative Anthony Green. A little bit of a gimmick change there, but guys are coming and going all over the place. We saw it with Christian Casanova, another one, and he got picked up. He is on NXT as well as Carmelo Hayes. So, like I said, a lot of those people, the limitless people, the champions, they've all been picked up by somebody. MJF, Danny
you also
Garcia, you've seen him all over the place.
Anthony Green, Casanova.
Yeah, so I mean, we're seeing guys come and go all over the place. We got people coming back.
We see a
Actors
lot of
don't
our
know if
guys
they're
get picked
music.
up for appearances on AEW Elevation and Dark.
Oh yeah, even some of the people we've interviewed have been there. We saw the Becker on there. We've seen these people, so anything can happen. That's why I love the independent scene here in New England because these people one day, in a VFW hall, and the next day they're in a pay-per-view somewhere. We just saw the Prize City OG getting a WWE tryout. That's big. That's
Amazing.
huge. Huge.
And this was the year he really made an impact on because he did wrestle a little bit before, but he was just starting at his stride, you know.
You saw him at the dojo. You saw him out there. I think at Let's Wrestle. A few other places. He didn't really kind of start getting places until the road started taking off. He started doing more and more with that, and in Limitless, and the fans hated this kid. Hated him.
Chaotic fans aren't too fond of him, but he
No, and
doesn't
then
get to
Beyond,
speak.
when he went to Beyond too, the fans hated him, and he hated them back. And
Becca
and then
really hates those fans, huh?
one day, he came out in Limitless, and the fans weren't booing anymore. They were full on cheering for this kid as they saw him overcome all sorts of adversities, getting title shots up against Danny Garcia a few times. We saw him come close to gaining gold in his feud with AC baby and all of that. And I think the fans started to really fear for this kid, and now you see him blowing up the scene. He's causing mischief on uncharted territory. He's holding the world title in Limitless.
Which is usually really good luck.
Like I said, anybody that's ever held it's going somewhere.
That is absolutely true.
So,
I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Green turns on him.
oh, I'm sure something's got to give here now that the roles
He was
kind of
already
changed.
starting to tease me a little during intermission at Chaotic when he said, "Are you gonna put me as the best match of the night?" And when I talked to him about how Brian Danielson and Heyman Page set the bar high for wrestling, he's like, I can do just as great as they are, maybe even better."
Well, he probably can.
Yeah,
He probably can, and he will get. I mean, Anthony Green is a superstar. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything bad about this dude. I know there's people out there that don't care too much for him. I know there's people out there that think he's overrated. I know there's people out there, that are sick of seeing him come back. But I'm not one of those. I'm happy to have him
Me
back. I'm happy to
too.
have him wrestle. I think he's put on some great, tremendous matches since coming back. We've seen him against Martin Slavich, Daniel Garcia. We saw him against who was that duck guy you liked so much? The merch.
Oh
Um,
yeah, Rob Killjoy.
Rob Killjoy. That was a great
Quack
match.
quack.
Big Beef out in Chicago. You've seen him have some tremendous matches and more, and
Yeah,
he's really just coming back and doing whatever he was whatever he needs to do to correct whatever he needs to work on. He's doing it, and just like dominoes, everything will fall into place, and he'll be probably picked up again. If not to WWE, he'll go to AEW and become a star.
absolutely. There's no doubt about that, Versace.
Um,
Because he has been getting picked up by, even got Scorpion Death Drop by Sting on national TV.
but now, speaking of stars, who would you say is up and coming rising star? Now we have a bunch of people. Um, and we have a real lot of people. Okay, you got people like Love Doug who have, broken out, kind of started off losing every single match and kind of became a winner.
Now he's
Um,
becoming a huge focal point of Limitless, then beyond. Now Beyond, he was the type of guy
when
you
you
saw at
used to
every
find
promotion.
it, you used to find it very comedic to watch when we were watching, The Road, and now he's become quite the serious fighter and someone you strive to see for his matches, and you get very excited to see.
Oh, absolutely.
You were kind of upset that he wasn't on the card for Chaotic, and you were very happy that he came out as Santa Claus.
Oh, I know.
Okay, so you have him, but you also have some more people from that, Chaotic
You
division too.
gotta say, like the whole class of students, I would say if he had more time to shine, he's just gonna start to get picked up in more promotions. He was in the spotlight match the other day. I think Water, you're gonna see a huge breakout next year for him. I wouldn't
Yeah,
give him the award this year, but
I was just gonna mention up and coming Rise of Mordor. I was watching and I posted some videos of his earlier match and earlier in the year when he started to work with the tag team with
Smash Master.
Smash Master and Chaotic Wrestling, and he really has come a long way, and he's looking better and better, cleaner and cleaner moves as he executes them, and just becoming a powerhouse. I would say this next year will be his year to shine. You might see him with some form of chaotic gold. Eventually, you might see him against the Smoke Show. Um, that could happen, and that's another breakout star of that I want to talk about is Ricky Smokes. You know, in the beginning of the year, you had him running around like a detective. Detective Archer, and now today he's part of the Smoke Show. He's part of Art.
And
A
he's the
great
reigning
trio.
mid card champion of Chaotic. Speaking of New England champion, a guy who's also been on my radar. He's been a very great New England champion. Brought up some prestige, defending it against the likes of Bear Bronson, Eddie Edwards, JT Dunn. As Brad Cashew, he kind of had an identity crisis in the beginning of the year. He was face one promotion, heel one. Now he's finding his stride as a face as Brad and Chaotic and Limitless. He's this the main fans hate him as his alma mater gimmick.
We actually, I believe we saw him win that title.
Yeah,
I believe we were at that. That was at the taping we were.
the Reloaded taping.
Yeah, and and you're right. He has come a long way. He is another breakout star. And another one is gonna be Becker. I mean, come on.
Huge breakout star. She went from being the bottom of the exposure to main eventing in places like Beyond, getting bookings as far as Jersey. and main event segments. Big part of Limitless, Chaotic, the first ever Panoptic champion,
You know,
and
and
NCW Women's Champion.
that's who I have to say is gonna get our VSW award is Becca. Just not only did she do all this, she was able to utilize all this ascension during the pandemic, just with great cutting of promos, getting people into her matches, the road, and then coming. When I first saw her at NCW at the ballroom blitz, she was basic Becca and very basic. It's that she had some kind of an '80s aerobics instructor look to her, very basic gimmick. From that point on, I then seen her the leader of the Scrungy Squad. She transformed through the pandemic. And with that, for the better, like you said, she became the first pan trans optic after capturing the women's title in Chaotic from Ava Everett.
Yeah, because all those other guys, Love Doug does stand out in the award, and I'll talk about it towards the end of the night. But those other three we mentioned and Chaotic, that three of them were in for the Fatal Four Way for that title. Is I would like to say they all are going to really break out next year. If they're breaking out now, they really
Oh
started to
yeah,
break
I
out a
mean, I
few
think
months ago,
next
not
year
all year. You
this
know,
class of wrestlers that's coming up right now are all gonna shine pretty heavy.
and you got the higher society breaking up. I think Van Dale and Amanda Chaos are going to be looked at more seriously, and they're all going to thrive. One as a super baby face. Amanda
Oh yeah,
Chaos is going to do awesome solely without Van
that's
Dale.
another person that it's like I said, all these people are kind of hard to break out of. This was a hard decision. The reason like I said, I've gone with Becker is I just believe she just did the best utilizing what she had with the times we were in. And like you said, she did get picked up all over the place, all the way out to Russell's laboratory out in um, Jersey. And Beyond Wrestling picked her up. She's with the Hooligan with Alec Price, just running all sorts of trouble. We just saw her at Limitless. We've seen her, fighting tag matches, triple threats, not triple threat, what is it, 3-on-3s. We've seen her fight in all sorts of matches. So, I mean, she is getting better and better too.
Starting next year, I want to do a New England or Limitless Dojo Showcase Award for a
We're gonna
person
have
who's
to
never wrestled.
actually. I think next year we're gonna have to actually go to some of the Let's Wrestle because I mean we can see the students wrestle. I mean that's the whole thing. I think that a chaotic you get into it because you get to see the students as well. So that would be like limitless. They would let we would be able to see the students wrestle and some of the other people there on that um, and that roster that would be there. So something we can think about, next year that does fall under our categories of what we want to cover. I know our three bases have to be without a doubt, chaotic wrestling, limitless wrestling, and NCW,
Because they cover all our tiers.
and then we will go from there of what we want. Other shows, proving ground, and other promotions, but
One
like
show
I
I'd
said,
like to try and
this
go to
was a
next
hard
year
choice
is
though, because like I said, there was a lot of people that really kind of shined out. This could have easily went to Brad Cashew. He's another one, that captured gold and shined out and
but
came
this is a
through.
whole year award, and the and the pandemic tapings played a huge part of it. If we did this from September to December, it would have been way tougher. We would have had to have the fans vote on it,
Yeah, I mean,
but they're all eligible for it next year.
I'm kind of including 2020 into this just because we didn't really run anything in 2020. We never really talked
Exactly.
about it. But yeah, I mean, if you had to just run from year to year, it might have been a little different. But we got the great thing is we got to see all these people transform.
Like Rick, I feel like Mortar, Ricky Smokes, and Cashew just finished transforming this year, you know?
But then you got new faces we've seen like Big Beef,
Oh, I love Big Beef.
you
Let's
know?
start to do a person who's in the higher tier of indie wrestling, that like one offs that Randy rotates on the Limitless. We can talk about the people like Effie or Alley Catch, someone like a Dan Hausen too.
But I mean, not to mention, I mean, you know who else kind of broke out a little bit this year? I'd say,
You know who really broke out? And I think I know who you're talking about, but this person's too good to be just a rising star on Sun Hero. Is Masha Slamovich.
oh yeah, she did. This isn't the person I was actually thinking of though, but she has really dominated.
Because
But
in 2020, she was fighting in Japan, I believe.
she was, she was in Japan, and she's been all over the place. She's really killed it. The person I'm talking about is somebody I saw him a while in NCW. Kind of he had a nice little run with his tag team partner. They had some tag gold. They had some fun, but it was nothing to write home about. I feel. And then he kind of went solo, and he started to get good in big matches. Limitless started to put him in some really tough matches with some nice names. Just his recent match with Matt Taven alone, and
Rip,
that would
Rip.
be Rip Bison.
I think he's one of the most underrated performers in the whole New
Well,
England
I don't
Indie.
think he was just underrated. It's just he wasn't getting the matches. He just wasn't wrestling. I mean, as a tag team, he was being buried. His true skill set, and now that he's getting names and he's getting people to wrestle, I think he's really coming into his zone.
Mm-hmm.
And he's another one. He launched his own promotion this year, Pro Wrestling Grind.
Yeah, absolutely. And unfortunately, we had those not really car issues. I remember the time, like, I was willing to drive. It was the day before we had issues with Fresh Blood stuck
Oh,
in,
that was a planning issue. We didn't know what the traffic would be like going to the west. We thought it'd be like normally,
because your car was in the shop trying to figure stuff out, and I was
we
like, let's
thought it
leave
would
him,
be our normal like trip
going
that
to
we would
KO.
take, and yeah, it wasn't not. It was like 3 hours plus with traffic. It was an
Because we
insane.
all expected an hour and 15 or an hour and a half ride.
Oh yeah.
But we definitely got to go to the grind next year for at least a few shows.
Hold
You know
on
what I
one
mean?
second here to say, well, I just got a message from the Rodfather. Let me see if I can patch him in. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Hello.
What is up, Rodney?
What's up, brother?
What is up? Now let me just bring the Saber Wolf back in. I'm sorry, just getting everybody into this one.
Right on, right on.
Have you been listening to the podcast? We've been covering the year.
Man, yeah, I just got on and just look.
Hello.
Hello.
Is this the Rodfather?
This is the Rodfather
Nice to meet you. The wolf is here.
in his house. Yeah,
Oh,
man. So you guys are doing the year in review, kind of, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah! It's been a remarkable year, man. And
It really.
2022 is going to be even better because you guys are going to be at the base bash.
I am so excited for that.
Oh man, we're going to bring everybody in that we can. We're going to make this a really good thing.
we can't wait for that.
Absolutely.
We've been telling everybody about it that we can. All the fans, all the friends of the fans, family of the fans, everybody. We want this to be the biggest bash ever. We saw what you did last year, how it went. You know, it went okay. It wasn't the wrestling was okay, I thought in my book, but it wasn't the best, and I want to give you the best.
Exactly. In the Bays Bash, it's not supposed to be an indoor event. It's an outdoor thing, So yeah, we
Exactly,
got to get
like
out.
this is gonna. I want this to be like I see Bay's Bash as like the Woodstock of wrestling, man. You come
Exactly.
down there,
That's
you can sit back, you can smoke yourself a little doobie. You're gonna watch some good wrestling. You're gonna watch some people kick each other's asses. You might crack open a
exactly.
beer. You're gonna have some good
Have
food
some
around you.
barbecue.
Yes, exactly, man. Kansas barbecue. Something, man. You guys are gonna shit when you eat some good Kansas barbecue.
Oh, I'll tell
Nice.
you one thing, Rodfather. The VSW is a big fan of spice, so we hope you make it hot.
Oh yeah, because the Rodfather's always got something going on. So it's always definitely spicy around here.
I can't
Yeah,
wait. Like I said, we are very excited for this. We saw your
me and all
match last year.
My Rodfather rockers, and my family and my friends, and just everybody around here. We're excited. We want to bring you guys all in, and we want to make this like something historical.
Oh, we knew you were gold. As soon as we did our cruising for a bruising, and we did our
Oh
the
yeah,
interviews release. You came out, just killed the competition, blowing apart people in the scene. There was people in there like Love Bug and stuff. That other people were betting on winning, and you just came out there and just crushed them all.
man. One thing I love about the whole business and the whole aspect of being the Rodfather is the fact that I market myself like so much, so proudly, and like I will promote the hell out of myself. But now I got you guys got my back. Like my name's getting out there. People know who I am, and it's yeah, the Rodfather. That's money, baby, money.
Yeah, it is money. We saw you in the Kansas paper. I saw the paper in the care package you sent me. Again, eternally grateful for that, brother. Really appreciate a lot of cool stuff, a lot of cool memorabilia. And
Oh,
yeah,
wait till you see what I send you next, brother.
my God. But like I said, and I love marketing. I love making shirt designs, getting people to wear your shirts, getting your name out there. Every time someone buys your shirt, that's your name on there. That's somebody wearing your logo. That's somebody wearing your name. People are gonna know who
Now,
you are.
when I show up in Massachusetts, which I'm going to, it just things haven't worked out the way they were supposed to because I'd already whooped somebody's ass by now. Uh,
Big
but you
time.
know that I'm ready to show up, and I want see the crowd wearing some Rodfather like beanies and sweatshirts and just holding them Rodfather signs. Because when I show up, though, when I finally make my debut where you're at, I'm gonna drop that Star Spangled Stunner on somebody's ass. Justice will be served. I tell you what, Versace. And
I
disabled
saw it
will,
today. People were
no,
teasing
brother.
you versus Tough Daddy for the KPW title, and it might have to happen at some point next year. Who knows?
Well, what I'm saying is night one of Bay's Bash, when me and you become the ultimate version of the Mega Powers, and we dominate that tag team battle royal. Then on night two, I might just have to come out there and slap the piss out of Tough Daddy a little bit or something. I don't know. Like, whatever happens, happens.
Hey, but I
He's
know
tough.
one thing. I know one thing. We'll be ready night one for that battle
Hell yeah.
royal.
That's
Hell yeah.
maybe I'll be the manager and I can reveal my alter ego as the real disabled.
You
That's what I'm
could,
talking about, man.
Because
and
due
we'll
to
be
my
in there with
condition,
you.
I can't really wrestle because I'm not trained, but I can do everything else commentating, some
Well,
managing, refing, helping out with the stage crew
for a
for
fact,
Base Bash, you name it, brother.
I know for a fact you're going to be on the commentating table with me and Versace
Oh, yeah.
because we're going to do live commentary. We're going to get this all over every platform that we can. We're going to broadcast the piss out of this.
Oh
this
yeah,
is
Hell,
this
going to
will
be
be.
hell no.
We're definitely gonna be showing and showcasing it on our YouTube for you, and we'll get you on other people's YouTubes. We'll get you try to get you as far as IWTV if we can. Who knows how far we can get this thing? We want Bays Bash to be a household name in independent wrestling, not just in Kansas, but all the way out here in New England, across the country. We want
That's what I'm
people to
talking about.
tune into this, get to know the guys, and really just get to fall in love with the product of what Bays Bash is and what it's going to be every single year as it
I,
continues
I
to
want
grow
Bays
bigger and
Bash
bigger.
to promote the guys that nobody gets to see. You know what I mean? When
Yep,
the guys just that are just stuck in certain areas, I want to bring them out of them areas. I want to show these guys to the world. You know what I mean?
you're going to bring Tough
absolutely.
Daddy out of Fall River. It's going to be
Yes,
a
I
hell of a
am.
time, and these are people that are stuck in these areas that just can't get out of that local scene.
Exactly.
And if they get out their name out there, who knows how they're going to take off in another state. People that don't do well here might do great out your way.
And man, I've got people hitting me up that are getting up there big time, dude. Like, and I got some surprises for the Bays Bash.
And that's what it's
Might
all
be
about. The surprising of the
I
fans.
really want you to do well, Rodfather, and make a good profit at the base bash for yourself, buddy, too.
hell yeah. The thing is, what we always do is we give back from whatever we get. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, I
Hell
mean
yeah.
it's not always about that profit. That profit is nice, but I mean it's also a very
Yeah.
kind of rare commodity. You're not going to make $1 million off a show. You're not going to be able to retire. What you are going to be able to do though is I'll tell you this: you'll be able to make a great fan base, make a great hell of a show.
And break
Gain
out
a
for
lot of
future opportunities
fans.
for stuff.
You will. You'll make a lot of new friends, and with that, you'll be able to do even more. And that's what it's all about. Growing, expanding, and continuing to do it for the fans,
well,
doing it for the passion.
I, I got you guys with me on this, and we're a team. And when I mean by that is, I know you guys are a promotional team like no other because you guys took the Rodfather from a well-known name to national fame.
And that's
So,
what it's all about, and that's what we like to do. We like to put you
but
people out there, get people's eyes and ears on the wrestlers that not everybody gets to hear about. They might get pushed aside because of another big name, or they might not get the big push because they don't know the right people. Well, they
I
know
am
us, and we'll do
still,
whatever we can do. You know.
I am still your reigning, defending, cruising for a bruising
Cruising.
champion.
You sure
And
are.
I plan on standing in that ring, defending that belt at the bash.
Yep, we are gonna get you a match for that title at that. You might be fighting 3 times that bash, but it's base bash. It's all about you, right? And all the superstars
Right.
and having a good time and getting in the ring and being with friends, family, fun. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a good time,
I
just
We're gonna
like
can't
have
it
wait
good
to
should be.
times,
be a
good
ring
food,
announcer, or
good
manager, or
entertainment.
whatever you want for me, Rodfather, to be commentating. I can do it all too. We can mix it up on the nights.
Oh yeah.
We can do, we can do all kinds of stuff, man. This is the show for wrestlers to have a good time and show their talents and not get taken advantage of because a lot of promoters are full of shit, and a lot of wrestlers aren't treated the way they need to be treated. You know what I mean? Those
That is
guys
true, that
when we,
is true. We try
we
to
put it,
only we try to stick with the winners and a lot. I mean, fortunately for us, or lucky for us, or any of the promoters that we've worked with this year or that we've gone
John
to know with,
Casey, Randy Carver, people, Chase
they've
Del
all been
Monte.
great. They're all great people, but there is some really shady people in this industry, obviously. And
yes,
you
there.
got to always kind of watch your back on what's going on. There is somebody always trying to take advantage, take the next, take your shine and cut you
We're
out.
gonna instill faith in people in this business again.
And we can do that with Bays Bash. We can do that with the VSW podcast. We can put some faith back into it. We can put, some people back into this industry again. Make this more about a more personal industry. More, more people talking. face to face instead of just kind of fantasy booking and so forth. So
Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
gonna be kind of an old way school of doing things, but it'll be kind of a good way of doing things.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're a little bit over 8 months away from this, brother.
I can't wait.
I can't either.
I am super
Like
excited for it. It is going to be summer's biggest event, if not the year's
exactly.
biggest event, and we will be ready. Whatever we need to do, we'll be preparing for this. We'll get all eyes and ears onto this. We'll start launching
Well,
full promotional campaigns. Talking and explaining to people and getting people to tune in to this.
over the next month or so, man, then we're gonna hit them hard with our advertisements, brother. We're gonna get this format laid out. We'll get this ball rolling, man.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
But well,
This will
brothers,
be a good way to get people to watch wrestling too from Massachusetts. I can really market it that I'll get to go to Kansas and people get excited and tune in for the curiosity itself.
exactly.
You know, that's what it's gonna
So,
be. It's gonna be a great time, and I can't wait to work with you, Rodfather. I really can't. It was a pleasure having you on the Base Basher. Like I said, you really shocked and awed the people and took it by surprise. And I just can't wait to see what we're gonna be able to accomplish in the ring. If we're gonna be able to do it, I think we're gonna be able to do it. I think we're gonna be able to do the unseeable, and that's to capture that gold
exactly.
and to wear that gold titles around our waist like the mega powers
Hey,
that we are. And
we shocked anyone, and we're gonna blow their fucking minds in 2022.
that's what I'm
Hopefully, if
talking about.
we can't make any promises, I think Base Bash is going to be fucking awesome. Don't get me wrong. But hopefully, 2023 or 2024, if 2022 goes well, it can become a place where cities can bid for this, you know?
Exactly.
Yep.
We're not gonna stop when we just shooting at the stars. We're gonna take over the galaxy with this thing, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Hell yeah.
Well, my brothers, I hate to cut it short, but Rodfather's got to get to the family.
It's all
Then I
good,
got to
my
call.
man.
I got to
Sounds
get
good.
ready.
Thank you for coming on, being part of the holiday special, end of the year. Thank you very much, Rafa. We'll
Thank you
have
and
you
have a
again
Merry
on.
Christmas.
You
You have
too.
a Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
and we
Oh,
will have you on again talking Bays Bash maybe sometime in January.
definitely, definitely.
Have a great night, brother.
You too, brother.
So, I mean, there you have
Wow.
that. There's the Rodfather. You
So you
know,
could potentially be a tag team champion, Versace.
I am. He mentioned that earlier today to me, and I kind of kept it a surprise. I was going to be in a tag team battle royal. I think I have what it takes to pull it off. I don't know. We'll see. You know
Like,
me.
I
I'm kind
think
of
the wolf
modest.
is going to be unleashed there, whether it's in the commentary table, managing table, backstage crew, you name it.
I mean, I'm exactly. I'm kind of modest, but I think I would look good with a little gold around my waist.
And I can't wait to reveal this, my actual character persona, Versace, in 2022. It's going to be a mix. Sometimes I can be a good wolf or a bad wolf. I tend to root for both in the indie scene, the faces and the heels. Especially if they're funny, I'll root for them no matter what.
I wonder if it's gonna be a real belt. I mean, considering that all of KPW's belts can be bought on ringside, um, and you can probably get 20% off now with the code or something, or 10%. I don't know what they give you. But besides that, I hope Rodfather gives me a real belt if I win.
Yeah,
I haven't.
absolutely.
I mean, I have enough toy
At
collections
least the
right now.
Rodfather has a business plan to this, unlike somebody we know.
Oh, he does. He has a business plan. Okay, I believe he really does. I mean, I've talked to
Of
him.
course.
He's shown me locations. He's shown me things. I don't think
Exactly.
we're just gonna drive out to the middle of nowhere and fight in the gullies of
Alright.
Kansas.
But you know what I mean. Like,
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. But like I said, it's been a wild year. It's been a wild year for him. Last year's Bays Bash he was with against what Flex, and he got squashed, and it was just it wasn't what he wanted. It wasn't what he envisioned for Bays Bash. Bays Bash is the outdoor event. This wasn't an inside thing, and it was just
Honestly, have those guys come on the VSW, do video packages and stuff to send us so we can really hype this thing up.
what guys.
Just saying the wrestlers.
Oh, those are the wrestlers that we're bringing. The wrestlers. I know they got some. Then he's not using flexes again. He didn't like how they
Oh,
performed. He didn't like the indoors. He's bringing guys from up here, from New England. And
oh
then he's got
wow.
some other people from out there. Yes, he wants to bring, like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, I don't know, a bunch of people, maybe 20. I know he's
That's
got
awesome.
some of the KPW guys. I know he's got some of the other guys that he's looking into.
Hmm.
Um, Maybe even some of the chaotic guys. He also got surprises from other wrestlers and names. So who knows? Anything can happen with Base Bash. It sounds already like it's a 2-day event. So that's a hell of a lot of wrestling. If the first night we're gonna win the titles, or at least try to. And he said the second night he was gonna slap the piss out of Tough Daddy for a little bit, maybe. I know you want to see that one.
That'd be pretty entertaining. Can the toughest man in the world square up against the Rodfather?
I feel like Tough Daddy is the one man you love to just watch get beat. He's really annoyed you the most this year. I don't know. I mean, there's been a lot of annoying people this year at the VSW podcast. A lot of um, a lot of annoying people. We've had him, okay, but you also, I mean, you had Ref Mike. We can't not talk about Ref Mike and
Oh my
annoyances.
god.
I mean, we have to. We have to. I mean, I know we might be friends with this kid, but I mean, come on. I mean,
He
besides
tries so hard to hide stuff, we can tell he's lying. Like,
besides the drama of trying to go to every single show 5 minutes before the show's about to, like, be sold out. Um, it's just always something with this kid. And
when
you got to wrestle him. You lost.
I know
He won, and he just it went straight to his head. He was afraid to show up to any other show in case he lost.
it's
And,
crazy.
not to mention in the chat room, man, in the mornings, and you'd be starting it up. He
I
definitely
know.
was an annoyance to the VSW. I mean, we've had, like I said, some annoying people. Um,
Yeah, because one of the things I spent a lot of time talking about it on the chat room from hell, but like this thing that's only supposed to be once a month or every other month, like another promotion, turned into a 24/7 thing.
yeah, and it wasn't the 24/7 title either.
No, they should be running for
They
something
should
like,
be nah. They should be running for it. You know what we should do? We should
yeah,
change the rules and make the KPW title be able to be defended at any time, at any place, at anywhere, and just let
those
all the
guys wouldn't
fall
be
and
chatting
let
on social media so much then, huh?
and then let all of Fall River chase Tough Daddy around.
He'd hide in the school bus and it'll hurt his bump.
Ah, jeez. Oh my. I don't know what is going on, but like I said, so you had those two annoying us. We've had other annoyances in the year though. Um,
Big time.
there's been a lot of people. There's not even just been annoyances. There's been straight up hatred for the VSW podcast. Long time person that does not like us or does not like me would have to be Rachel from Beyond Wrestling. I mean, she misunderstood what I was trying to tell her about the fans. We got into a skirmish when she was chasing Mayor McCheese. Okay, I get it. Okay, she's a lawyer. She's doing the right thing. She was nailing these sham shill accounts, one after another, taking them down, exposing the people, exposing the fans. They were fans, yes. The people that were getting exposed, these weren't other wrestlers. They were fans, people that you saw at every single show. One guy, Jason, he went to every single Beyond show, front row. And then he was writing shit behind their backs on a sham account. She uncovered him. We saw other guys from NCW and his son. They were writing shit. He got outed, shamed. All I proposed was at the time was not allowing these fans to come back, and this was on the basis of how retail is run. If you have an issue where you work, right,
Yeah,
and a customer is unruly, guess what? They can get a ban from the store and they ain't allowed back in. And that should be the same thing with unruly wrestling fans. Now, while they're not blatantly acting aggressively, they're behind the scenes, bullying and acting aggressively behind the screen on a computer under another name. So it's the same thing. All I did was propose that the fans get banned. She said no, started something. I said, "Are you doing this? What are you doing this for then?" I thought we were doing this to weed out the fans so they can't come, the bad fans, so they don't come back to wrestling. She apparently just wanted them outed so that they would be too ashamed to come back. So far, I believe it worked. I don't know, but somehow down the line, she thought I was bullying her. It's not the case. We're all on the same team, dude. And
exactly.
I never had an issue with Beyond, Rachel, any of these people. And I feel like I was just kind of just unjustly and unfairly just thrown into something that I'm not, because I'm not a bully. I don't bully anybody on the internet. I don't get into fights with people. I don't go after people. We did that in 2019 when we were dealing with Carbuckle and all those other people. And after that, the whole thing changed. The whole scene changed. We got too busy for that shit. We don't got time for all that. We barely got time to cover the shows we can cover.
Never
Put
mind
a
getting
sour
into
taste
the
in my mouth.
drama.
But she's definitely not a big fan of the VSW. Another non-big fan is, Brandon Hamilton. Not a fan of the VSW at all.
Oh,
Uh,
he called disabled people trash for the Ric Flair joke.
yeah, I mean, I made it. First of all, it wasn't even really a Ric Flair joke that I made. It was a Ric Flair reference of an Eminem joke. It was an Eminem joke with a Ric Flair reference, and yeah, I mean, okay, was it funny? Yeah, a little. Actually, yes, it was funny. Was it tasteful? No, probably
No.
not. But as a longtime fan of wrestling, I have known what Ric Flair had done. For many, many, many years, I had known about that. I already knew the kind of guy he was. I've known wrestling. That's what, it's not a clean industry. So by this point, I wasn't shocked and awed by it, and I wasn't making fun of the victim. The victim has already been paid millions of dollars, and while I feel for her tremendously, I really do. It wasn't a stab at her. It wasn't, a jab at
And
her at
it's not
all.
like you did that on a female wrestler's post about
And
sexual
no, it wasn't to a
harassment.
female wrestler post. And if you watch the actual show, it said that the male wrestlers would wait for it and watch Ric Flair walk down the airline. Now these were the guy wrestlers, and they said the way it would he would walk and he was in doubt, it would go like a helicopter. Okay? Now this was the guy wrestler saying this. So for me to say that, I wasn't even talking about the situation with the female. Okay, I wasn't even talking about that incident that happened later in the night. I'm talking about just the regular presence of him taking off his robe, walking down the plane, with his dick flying around like a helicopter. I just find that to be humorous. he should have never showed it to the female if she didn't want to see it. Obviously, I don't condone that. I don't condone people sending dick pics online either. I don't think that I don't go for all that shit. But for what the joke was and the time about it, it was first of all the time previous to that, not the sexual assault. Second of all, like I said, I have known about that for a long time. Now, was it offensive? Yes, apparently it was to some, as it started a whole spiral of events that day. We talked. I tried to defend the comment a little. I should have just listened to Mashup and fucking deleted it, but instead I defended what I was saying, and I was defending
I
it
was at
because,
work that day when it happened, so
well, I did defend it a little bit because what I was trying to say is, yeah, Ric Flair's a piece of shit. I've known he's a piece of shit for years. If you didn't know he was a piece of shit, well, then where the fuck you been in the wrestling world? Because this has happened a long time ago. This wasn't a yesterday flight. Okay, this was what 2002, 2003. They were talking Mr. Perfect was still alive, and other wrestlers, Rick Rude. I don't know. So it's a long time ago. Not Rick Rude. What's his name?
uh
Yeah, maybe. I don't even know. Mr. Perfect was on there though. So I mean, like I said, you know, people were, it was a long time ago. So it happened, and people knew about it. And we got thrown under the bus because of it. And when I kind of defended it, it turned in, and then our sponsorship got revoked by the laboratory.
which honestly let it be because I think it did make some of those wrestlers feel uncomfortable, not because of us, it's because that guy Ham was just doing it for clout and being a bully.
Well, see, and that's the case. I mean, at that point, I feel like he did this kind of attack us for no reason. And then for the promotion to jump on board was just kind of ridiculous, and we've been throwing them money for no reason. We threw them
That's
money.
something. If what should have happened, and if all the wrestlers are listening, you wouldn't like to be overreacted for a joke like that either. What should have happened
This
is,
wasn't,
is
first of all, this wasn't like a Sammy Guevara joke, This wasn't something like that, okay?
yeah,
This was just a senseless joke. What I'm saying is, what should have happened was he should have hit me up in the behind the scenes and said, "Look, Versace, I find that to be not funny, distasteful. Sexual assault and this is not funny." And then I would have explained to him what the joke was about, and either he would have been like, "Okay," or maybe he would have asked me to take it down. As far as the promotion, all they had to do was just hit me up and be like, "Yo, we find that unacceptable as a promoter, as working with us, as being a sponsor. Would you mind taking that down?" That's all you had to ask. Um, I took it down anyway, just because nobody, only like two people got the Eminem joke to it, I believe. It got much more traction on Facebook.
people were
Laboratory,
laughing about it on Facebook.
people were
Like
laughing about it on Facebook. One guy said that the helicopter was fueled by coke and whiskey. And these are people that are on the lab, and these are people that are wrestled. So I mean, I don't know. I think they blew it out of proportion. They should have let it be. They had a good thing from us. We were throwing money blindly at them, blindly. But like I said, we gave money to them to sponsor their show, sponsor Dick Lane, sponsor PDAC, all blindly because a few of the wrestlers were talking highly about it. And we threw money into it, and we were throwing. I was about to throw another 200 into the next show. This doesn't even happen until January. And he hit me up. The owner was like, if you were planning on sending that money, don't. We don't want your sponsorship no more. We don't wish to do business anymore. Finding sexual harassment is light is da 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 da. And I'm just like, dude, I started to get into it a little bit, and I was like, this dude ain't even listening to me. They already have found the blood in the water today. That's
and
me.
they freaking blame me for it, and I was working.
Yeah. And, they took it on everybody. They called the
And
trash
they
company
called
trash.
this us like I'm on the autism spectrum. That's why I call myself. They called us trash because I screenshotted that. They said screenshots live forever, but But I saw you guys call us trash, disabled people trash. And a lot of Facebook people, I didn't, you guys are lucky. I didn't screenshot your name or anything. All my Facebook people as my real name, they all know about you guys. So if you come after us, you're bullies.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, and that's what I was gonna say. There's two categories that are gonna get to it, and that's what everything's going to. There's been some other enemies of the VSW, of course. John Alba's another enemy of the
But
VSW.
it's funny, though. That's the thing.
He's in a funny way, but he is an enemy of the VSW podcast.
Hmm.
And there has also, been more annoying in the wrestling world as well. I mean,
I'd
I
say the
I could
low
go
tier
into Rob
promotion
Roberts
where
can
some
be
of
in.
the guys
Rob
came
Roberts
from.
can annoy you because he can ask you stuff. TJ can be annoying. I mean, anybody in that group was annoying. They would all win it. But if I had to pick the most annoying of the year for the VSW award, it's gonna go to Ref Mike.
Absolutely.
And back to the haters, yeah, we've had haters and we've had random fans haters. I think somebody on our podcast last night said they unfollowed us. They didn't like it. They didn't like the chaotic recap or something, but it hadn't even been a week. I don't even know what that fucking means.
Huh, who
But
cares?
out of all the haters on that, I'll have to give it to Brandon Hamilton. I mean, even outside of Rachel, that's fine. And I know
Yeah.
she kind of chimed in on that when he was like, I blocked it. She was like, join the club or whatever. Well, you know what? I'm not going to follow people that disrespect me. And second of all, I don't need. Well, first of all, I'm not going to follow someone that bullies my friends, especially that are disabled. Second of all, I don't need to follow people that are going to disrespect me personally, and I don't need
Because
you to be able
Brandon
to follow me.
Hamilton's actions kept your dad in the hospital a lot longer.
Oh yeah, he was my father was dealing with heart problems. He died literally on KPW Death Day,
Hmm.
and he started all that shit, and it was already a rough period for us with everything else, and it spiraled into us missing or
Blitzerick.
not even wanting to go to Blitzerrig Pro. And that I feel bad for Blitzerrig Pro because they're a really good promotion. Perry Von Vicious is a great wrestler, and he's a really good supporter of the VSW podcast. Johnny Torres, he's another great voice of Limitless Wrestling. There's so many people in Blitzerrig Pro. I love to go out there, and I just can't do it to myself with Brandon Hamilton as the ring announcer. He's not gonna. You're not gonna disrespect me and my friend and our podcast and everything that we've done for this community, and that we try to do for it. And you're not gonna just throw that down the tubes for your own self clout and expect us to just throw more money at you. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't work that way. There's plenty of other promotions that I can support. You know, um, I think if Rich Palladino had a problem with that joke, he would have messaged me personally and said, "Hey, Versace, that's a little bit out of line. Why don't you, tone that down and get rid of it?" And that's also the difference in professionalism.
I feel like if Chase or Randy did too, they would have messaged you privately too.
They would have. The promoter messaged me privately after Brandon Hamilton retweeted with this whole schmeal, and you know, after that, then they were like taking out the trash and da da da. And I lost a bunch of followers from it, and that's fine. You want to hit my Twitter, but the weird shit happened after that because then somebody with the lab logo started attacking our YouTube, and it could have been
And my
Brandon Hamilton.
Wolfcast had nothing to do with you, saying
No,
that me and you support sexual assault, spamming that. Like, that's bullying, dude. Like,
oh yeah, we don't support sexual assault. We don't even support Ric Flair's actions. Never even said we did. I don't even like
making
Ric
fun of
Flair.
the perpetrator, dude.
Dude, I'm not even a fucking Ric Flair fan. I don't even own a
There
piece
are
of Ric
people
Flair
that make
merch.
fun of OJ Simpson all the time.
I got a few, but what I'm saying is I got a few figures. It's not like I'm defending the guy. And the sad part is The sad part is these people that are fucking, down at me because I made a Ric Flair joke, they probably worship Chris Benoit as a wrestler and probably see nothing wrong with it. And he's another piece of shit that I won't support. I don't support pieces of shit in the industry. I'm sorry. I
And
mean,
they
and I
probably
could see.
secretly support Joey Ryan's actions.
I don't. I don't even support him. I never even been to a penis
No,
party
I never
prior.
have.
I never
Yeah.
even been to a penis party. Okay.
I refused to go to it when I was at WrestleCon during my Mania trip a few years back.
You and Panch went
To a Mania.
to the penis party.
No, not to the penis party. We didn't go to that.
It probably would have been a good one. That would have been the year to go to it.
I know, right? Like,
But
listen, anyone that feels upset that we're getting this out, but you gotta, I'm sorry to all the wrestlers who fail in the middle or anything, but we're not saying don't be friends with these people or anything. You guys do what you want to do.
hey, I'm
But
not saying don't do anything. If they're booking you, they're putting on shows. Go ahead, go and work with them. Go support them. Go to their shows. Go buy their merch. Watch their IWTV shows. Watch Alchemy season 1 and season 2. I'm not down in the wrestling. The wrestling's great. Everything is great. I just personally am not gonna get involved. So I won't go to the show. I won't cover it. I won't really talk about it. I won't. I'm not gonna say anything negative about it because there's really nothing negative I can say. The wrestling on is great. I went to the second show taping. Me and Matchup. You couldn't go. We had VIP seating. We were treated like royalty. Um, and the wrestling was an all-day event, and it was great. It was amazing. I had a great time. A little did I know, months later they would be treating me that way, but for that day, I felt like a god up in there. It was at the same venue that they do. Let's talk about wrestling in Ridgefield.
that's where they do a lot of these New York City promotions is Ridgefield
It's because
Park.
it's a close arena and it's not as far as the rest of Jersey. You don't have to go into deep into it. It's a much more doable ride than like the New York trip or Atlantic City, um, or H2O Center to do in one day. Those other trips are more like 2-day trips if you're gonna
Hmm.
go back and forth in the same night. But it was, and like I said, I was a big fan of it, and I'm not gonna tell people to not support. I'm not boycotting it. Um, but neither, like I said, will I support it. Will it be on my thing? And he's definitely been our enemy of the VSW for the year. He won it. Um, he angered a bunch of the people. He angered Rodfather when he made fun of you and me and kind of disrespected. He put out a promo against it, and Tough Daddy did too. People, Tough Daddy got pretty emotional in it because he, has been bullied and he's not a fan of it, and something that strikes a nerve. And he believes you were bullied on that, and that we were bullied in general, just with the mob crowd mentality and everything else. So, I mean,
Absolutely.
but what a wild year, though. Like I said, when we did get out to that Jersey area to watch a lot of wrestling. We saw, and like I said, during that IWTV, we saw a lot of great matches. We did go to Let's Talk. We saw great talent there. You got to see who kept. You talk about Darius Carter.
Oh, it was awesome.
Definitely was awesome. You know, there's been a lot of shows of the year that we went to. I don't know which one's the best. I don't even
There's
know
a
how to
lot of good
decide because like Big City Rumble was really good when it had kind of the
The
mix of
chaotic final fight is really up there for me.
it was, but I mean, like I said, Big City Rumble had chaotic, limitless, and like NC Dub all together.
I
I know
also
you
love
didn't.
the second limitless show we went to. Not the first one, Patience is a Virtue, the secret show, even though that was an awesome one. But it had Anthony Green's returning moment to Limitless in that surprise match against Daniel Garcia.
Yep, that was a really good show as well. Um, Even the Vacation Land Cup, Big City Rumble, as I said, WrestleFest was really up there. Proving
Mhm.
Ground did some pretty good wrestling shows. That Black Box show, and they just finished up their last show. And
Mhm.
Alchemania.
Yeah.
Who else did we? We saw a lot. I said Top Ropes on some big shows. The
Uh,
IWTV 100 was up there, though. I mean, that was a great show. It had almost everybody on there.
oh, I know everyone famous: Statlander, OC, Adora,
Every
Moriarty,
former IWTV champion.
Jonathan Grimm, Matt Mikowski, and Kevin Koo put on a great match. I
Yep.
also loved the War. I was so happy I got to see Warhorse for the first time.
And then we went all the way to we saw VXS.
The night before, we saw Brian Cage wrestle.
And I mean that's a strictly almost West Coast brand. You're not even seeing them scheduled to come back to Jersey. They're still in LA. So I mean, we got very lucky with that. Saw Brian Cage, Doctor Cube,
Cube was
Masha
vicious.
versus
Saw Cube in
AG.
the road, but
Masha versus AG was a banger of a match. Unfortunately, we had troubles getting to All Out. We had
yeah,
some tickets for the GCW there. I did, however, go to the Gage vs Moxley show. That was pretty
it
good.
was during my grandfather's postponed funeral, so I couldn't make that with you.
Yeah, but I mean that was another good show as far as shows of the year. XPW, the Rebirth. I went to that. That was interesting. Rob Black in 2021, back in action. Putting on
No,
promoting.
definitely.
So I mean, that was another show of the year. Been a lot of shows. I don't know how to bring it down to it. Beyond Beyond's first show back was amazing too.
It really was.
There was nothing announced on that, correct?
Correct. It was a surprise show. It was
Yeah,
Adora
nothing was
versus
announced.
Yuta in the
Nothing
main
was
event.
announced, and that was it. It got sold out. And the next show after that was one of my favorites too. When we saw Wheeler Yuta beat Lee
Lee
Moriarty for the
Moriarty for the title.
IWTV title in an
And
amazing
they're both
match.
in AEW.
In another amazing match. So I mean, I don't know. It's been wild. New England All Stars was a good card.
It really was. But like it was a disappointment though because they announced Brian Pillman Jr. as a meet and greet, but no one got to do the meet and greet.
Well, because it was too the traffic, and at the end of the night, he was only meeting with a few fans. When I went to go try to
It
meet him,
was
and
right
then
when the restrictions were lifted to Versace,
oh, it was. But I mean, he took a
so the
picture with
traffic
me.
was terrible.
He took a picture with me, but he wasn't happy about it. He was really mad. He screamed at me. He was like, "If I gotta take a picture with you, I gotta take it with everybody. I don't want to have to do that and do this and that. Nah, nah, nah." But
Turns out he might have not got paid for that show because All Stars did have a history of that right after.
well, yeah, we came to find out that they weren't paying their champion Paul Jordan. And he ended up leaving. So who knows what the true story was and what happened? But yeah, it wasn't that. And the end of the night kind of put a sour taste. But we did see a great match with Brian Pillman Jr. against Teddy
Yeah,
Goods.
it's
And let me think. There was another show I believe too. So many shows this year. Like I
top
said, they
rope.
came. What was it?
The top rope's first show back.
Oh yeah, there was Top Rope show first show back, and We also went to the reunion wrestling taping.
Yeah. At the time, I think it was one of our very first shows back because I was so fascinated by it because I'm still used to only watching indie wrestling shows and WWE at the time. So we never really went to a live show because of the pandemic, you know?
Yep. And KPW, Rage in the Cage.
Uh-huh.
Um, we got stuck with that mess, but hey,
We got through it.
we did. We also finally got our AEW show back in Boston.
That was awesome. Especially
And
seeing
we,
that Brian Danielson Eddie Kingston match on Rampage, and we also saw CM Punk's first, believe it or not AEW match, but Dynamite match because he wrestled in Rampage and All Out. So
yep,
we saw the Elite versus Dark Order in a Halloween costume when the Elite came out as the Ghostbusters, and Brandon Cutler was kidnapped by the Dark Order. It was hilarious.
a lot of fun. So I mean, what would you say is the best show of the year?
Show of the year. If I had to pick three, I'd have to say Big City Rumble. Well, four Beyond Masterclass. I'd say in terms of Limitless, it was the one right after where the beef Rip Bison a strap match happened, and the Anthony Green mystery match. So I think it's called. I'm looking up the list of Limitless's matches now. Just I forget the title of that show. I know I shouldn't because we went to so many of them.
Yep.
It is that show was called waiting for it. Waiting. That show was called Pressure Point.
Yep, I remember that.
It had a no.
That
It
was a
was
good
actually
match.
it's I got it mixed up. That was their last taping. It was undeniable. We went to when we saw John Alba for the very first time. Versace. JD Drake and Kevin Blackwood had a great opening match. We also met the mysterious Dan Hawson, which got the trend when he poured teeth on Ava Everett. We
Yep,
also
yep,
saw
yep, 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 yep. That was the show. We went
we
with
saw Charles Manson really be psychotic trying to kill Becca, and
yep.
that AC Romero and Eddie Edwards match was a 5-star match.
Yeah, it was. That was a
So it
good
was
time.
probably my favorite card of the year. It was undeniable.
That was it. That was the show of the year, undeniable. AG made his return. He came up short capturing the gold, but he made his presence felt. And yeah, I mean, I have to say it would either between that or that second Beyond show. What was that one with Willie?
Masterclass.
That was Masterclass.
We saw Atticus Cougar face Slade in the main event.
Yeah. So I mean,
But for chaotic, it'd have to be either the History Maker was awesome, Balance of Power. I loved Breaking Point, but I really loved Final Fight. Like, but
yeah,
if we're doing me and you, I'd have to say Balance of Power.
Bound Power was good.
Because unfortunately, I had personal issues. You had car and personal issues, so we didn't get to go to Summer Chaos, which I was sad I missed.
I mean, you call me a little biased, this might surprise you, but I'm gonna go with the show of the year being Masterclass. That main event was just incredible. The Wheeler Yuta versus um, Lee
Lee
Moriarty. It was
Moriarty.
just such a technical, sound match. It was what professional wrestling was and is, and it was just the energy for that match was just great. Um,
I think if I do decide to go to WrestleFell, the problem is I know people that don't have a lot of possessions, a lot of I hate to say friends, that a lot of people that have a lot of time on their hands probably love that idea of New Year's weekend. I actually don't because I got a family wedding cocktail party on New Year's Eve, so I won't make heavy. I think if I do decide to go, I'll do the season finale of Uncharted Territory and obviously the Limitless on New Year's Day night because I know I won't be able to make the Blitzeric show in the morning or any of the afternoon shows on any of the days. So if I do decide to do Wrestleville, those are my two options.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I don't know. I gotta try to get away from the fan if I can. If not, I mean, I don't know.
It's
And
I
all the
think
action though can be watched, I believe, on IWTV.
I'm definitely gonna go back and watch all of it. There's no doubt about that. Maybe
You
we'll
can
decide to recap it.
you could even
Some
watch
of
it
those
live, but it's gonna be fun time. But yeah, I'd have to say Masterclass was show of the year. And there was a lot of other great shows though, and I mean that Undeniable was amazing too. It's just something about that IWTV title match, and I think just Willie Yuta just really killed it. I fell in love with him when he first came back. When I first saw him back, in that was the first time me seeing him wrestle. Well, at the first Beyond show back, and when he got the win over, I believe, was it Willow Nightingale? I don't remember.
Oh yeah,
Trish Adora?
he got the over Lee Moriarty for the title.
No, but the first show back, he faced Trish
He
Adora, I
faced
believe.
Trisha Dora.
Yep, Trish Adora.
It was a non-title match.
No, I believe that was to gain the. That was like.
Yeah, exactly to gain the number one contendership. But
Yeah, and he beat
I
that. They put
misspoke.
him through all the loops, and then he said, he's ready, and he faced him, and he won. Um, but yeah, I mean, like I said, it's been a wild year,
Mhm.
and it's always hard though to get out to like the western part of the state too. We saw
Especially
that
the
with.
problem is, I hate to say this, but Beyond doesn't do Friday or Saturday shows. They always do Thursday night or random Sundays, which is hard for us too. Like the
Sunday's
Friday and
hard
Saturday.
depending on Sunday's hard depending on where I am and also what time of year it is. If the Wolf is capturing Wolf sportscasts, then he's not gonna be able to do you know Beyond um on a Sunday. So it all depends. I am though looking forward to see what's gonna happen. They did announce a second promotion being open. It's gonna kind of have some of the students and the showcasings and more of that.
Only $10 too. You can't beat
Well,
that.
if you think about it, it makes sense. They have a really big roster now. If you think about all the
Mhm.
people that are coming and going, if they want to bring in names, they can't run 5 6 hour shows. I mean, some of these shows that we went to were like 4.5, 4 hours, 4.5 hours. It felt.
Yeah,
That first show back, it started very late. It went very late.
I know.
So now they have a place to show off everybody, and it will be something incredible.
Yeah, but I think I may check out the season finale of Uncharted Territory. It's just hard to go on a Thursday night with all this traffic.
Oh, now it's even more harder to do. The traffic, people scrambling around.
Yeah, it's definitely that Wrestle Open. That's a cool concept.
It is. I think it's gonna be similar to the dojo was, where you're gonna get those students. You're gonna get some of the people that are just up and coming. You're not gonna have to. You get all the big names. You're not gonna see them bring in Matt Cardona to the show. But you are gonna see people like Love Bug, I think, and you are gonna see people like Alec Price and other people that are just killing the scene right now. So it's gonna be very interesting. let's see. Another thing I want to talk about, and we're gonna the next our category is gonna be is another VS Versace Stoner kind of specialty is tag team wrestling. We saw a lot of tag
This
team
the hardest
action.
one to pick.
We saw a lot of good tag team action this year. Okay, we saw the competition. We saw main event. We saw MSP transform to the vibe.
These stars.
Sea Stars, Max Smash Smasher and Mordor. You got you saw even Davey and Becca.
Yeah,
You saw Mason
best team
and
in the world.
Ava.
So
You know,
prestigious Versace.
you saw Prestigious. The
Waves and
duo.
curls.
Waves and Curls, amazing tag team. Dirt City Murder Crew kind of going detox rather.
Panic
Well, when they
mechanics.
but they've been injured. Hispanic Mechanics. We saw the rebirth of the Middlesex Express. They had disbanded a couple years ago. They were done, and they're back. We saw a bunch of great tag teams. We saw tag team tournaments. We watched it on TV. Was it Milk Chocolate?
Yep, milk chocolate.
They won that.
We saw Dan Barry and Dutch before they broke up.
We did. When we saw the breakup over the attack, we got to see the outfielders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I did,
Outfit
anyways. No, and I believe
really.
you did too. I don't know if you. I believe
Yeah,
you
I
did.
did.
We saw a lot of tag teams this year, and we got a lot of
Kings
great
of
footage.
this.
I'm a big tag team fan, you know that. But if there's one tag team that stands out of them all that I have to give this to, and it's gonna be with the most utmost respect, is gonna be the main event.
Oh, I was just gonna go. If I had to pick two, I would pick a MSP and main event. But I
MSP
definitely love main event
MSP
is
is a
what.
great tag team, and nothing against MSP. I'm a huge MSP fan. Um, I just think their loss against Garcia and Blackwood kind of
No, you were really disappointed. We all thought we were gonna get tag team championships.
yep, and I think it kind of slowed down their esteem a little bit. But they've
But
come out
main event,
strong.
whether they're in trios action with Nolo Catito for Circus Ninjas or the tag team, they're amazing. They always put like 5-star matches. The tricks and the athleticism is insane with ringleader Midas and Jay Lyon. They're very big supporters of us, and they're always appreciative of their fans. Good vibes all around. Never start fights on social media.
Oh yeah, it's always a pleasure seeing them.
You know what's funny too? Three of those teams we mentioned are on the IWTV Tag Team Awards. They got nominated a lot.
Yeah. Well, I
You have
mean,
Waves and Curls, but we haven't really seen too much of them since the pandemic.
I
But
love
they're
Waves
very
and Curls.
charismatic, and I think Waves and Curls, the main event, should be saved for a big, huge event that can be
They
hyped up for
they captured NCW gold
that we
during a taping.
sponsored.
Yep.
Both of
Um,
those teams that I mentioned appeared on Dark Elevation.
they have.
Mhm. But the main event definitely needs to be signed to AEW.
We actually saw Waves and Curls live when we went, didn't we?
Yeah, Dark Elevation. They lost to FTR.
So I mean, this is the future of tag team wrestling right now, and you gotta love it. You gotta love it. The main event again. I have to go with them again because they also grabbed some wins out in the Jersey area. They've taken all around. They've not just New England, not just Maine. all throughout New York and other places. And
Yeah.
they've been to the lab, leapfrog, I don't know, Jersey area. They've been all over. So I can't wait to see what's in store. I can't wait to see what's in store for the limitless title tag titles. Will Randy Carver relook at things? Was that MFP match versus the War Horseman, good enough to
How
get
the
things
hell did
looking?
we forget, speaking of tag team, the Shook Crew?
I mean, I don't know.
They could. But the one big stable, if we had to pick a stable award, which is too unfair, because there's only just two basically prestigious. But I'm really starting to fall in love. They're breaking through this year, but next year they're going to be a national powerhouse. Is JT Dunn's unit?
Oh, the unit by rights is like probably the biggest and best stable. Um, and that's how it would go with it. If we're gonna do rewards, stable of the year goes to the unit. They dominated. Now trios of the year, that would be between MSP recently. Now they're two, but earlier on they were trios. We saw them lose. You also have the trios of art.
Or- But they
That
formed that towards the end of the year, so
exactly, but it's still the year. You also have prestigious,
yeah.
and even what's
You
it
still
called
you
that
have
we just main event that we
you have
just talked
Dallas
about.
McCarthy stable and NCW with Dylan Nix.
Yep. Um. So I mean, like I said, I would go with the trios of the year has to be prestigious, but if I had to do a stable, if you want to really talk stables, I mean, what has been more dominant than the unit? I mean, they've been through almost all the promotions now. Started off in chaotic. We saw them at the big city rumble a little bit. Trigger
They
OG.
went to RWA and T Phoenix's promotion.
Yep. Um, and that's another promotion we've been trying to get to, just haven't got to this year. And then we seen them in Limitless Maine. AC Baby made the big turn.
And I've been loving that heel AC baby.
You know, um, it's been a wild year though. Trying to think
Absolutely.
if there's been any other big heel turns. AC might get the heel turn of the year, at least for Limitless.
Absolutely. What other heel turns have we had, Versace? We
I mean, you had
also have
Ava's heel turn.
Ava heel turn from the against Davey Ann.
That was pretty. That actually rivals that up in Limitless. I mean, these
Yeah.
guys were top dog, best friends,
Yeah. And heel
and
turn of the year for Chaotic is probably Mike Verna.
yeah, yeah.
Turning on Chase Del Monte and joining the unit in the season finale of Reloaded. Their
What
first
about
show
Dirty? Well, what
back
about
with
Dirty Dango? What about Dirty Dango?
that too. Because he joined in the unit. But I'd
That
say
was a
Mike
pretty bad
Verna's
twist.
more of the bigger heel turn because he was beloved and chaotic as the Man of Steel.
He was, and now I feel like he's hated there. But although I can't say it's hated there because chaotic, honestly, fans are 50-50. A lot of them do support the unit.
Absolutely. Like I told you, JT Dunn got a good react. I'm personally very excited to see what he has in store. But I really was hard for me. I didn't want to root against Chase Del Monte. We were just starting to warm up with him.
But
But
then
JT
also,
Dunn in the unit is good for our business.
talking about heel turns, I'd also say, what about Dylan Nix? I mean, he turned in
On
Limitless. He
Alexander
turned in
Lee,
NCW on his former teacher
leader.
and joined Dallas McCarthy and all these other people,
Yeah.
and is now kind of just doing evil things out there.
Absolutely, Versace. That is so true.
But I mean, I see the biggest shock in all, I think, and the heel turn for me has to be AC and Limitless. Honestly, I was sick and tired of going down there and dancing. If I had to go down there and dance and listen to,
And his mic skills got me to be a huge fan of him. I never knew he had great mic skills.
but there's no more love tonight, okay, or whatever his song was. I don't gotta listen to that. I get to listen to him belittle the fans, call them names, and tell it how it is, and I'm a fan of that.
Hmm.
I can see the heartbreak in some of the old timers' eyes. AC was their, number one. That would be the heel turn for me, though. Like I said, the AC turn.
Yeah. The heel turn for me has to be the Dirty Dango since you said the AC. But I'll give it to AC because Dirty Dango wasn't really beloved in anywhere. He just came back right after his first match against losing effort to Ricky
Now,
Smokes.
if Dirty Dango takes the pledge in Maine next, then you'll really see the Maine people cry.
Exactly. Because he's from Maine.
Bad enough, you have. He's from Portland.
You
So, I
could
mean, you
say
got one guy from
Cashew turned
Saco,
heel
him
in
from
Maine
Portland.
because he came in as a face to face Rip Bison in the surprise, but it didn't have the emotional impact. You know,
Nah,
it all started when he refused to shake Rip's hand. But the
yeah.
face, let's talk about face turns.
Well, I mean, Alec Price, it kind of happened on its own.
Yeah. Once JT Dunn attacked him from behind in the anniversary show, he had to turn face.
People felt for him.
But a
Why don't
big
you?
face turn of the year, in my opinion, was it's not going to have the emotional impact yet, but Paris Van Dale on what was supposed to be a popcorn segment with the Higher Society turned on Armani Chaos. He got a thunderous ovation when after he got attacked, the fans were chanting, "You don't need her." But the real face turn of the year has to be Beef.
Be what?
Beef the Freak's got to be my face turn of the year if I had to choose.
Now, you really consider him a heel prior?
He kind of was. He was hated during the tapings with the whole thing with Rip. He was like hating the crowd,
Was that
and
just
then all the
because they
rest.
don't know him, though? I mean, was he just a tweener
Maybe.
gone wrong? I don't know. I don't see him as a diehard heel to say he can make the turn. He
Hmm.
is now a face, though. I mean, the fans love him, kind of like the whole thing with uh, Alec Price and how they have fans just kind of adopted and does what they want to do. I'm gonna take a quick break to say, Wolf. Um, why don't you just quickly go over and talk about your some of your favorite Wolfcast moments while I go and take a quick break?
All right, folks. So while the Versace Stoner's taking a break, I would like to talk about my Wolfcast. So, unfortunately, my plan is going for 2022. I want to start this last week, but due to the COVID issues with the Bruins and Celtics, more importantly, the Bruins with all the games getting canceled, I have to delay my plans. What I want to do is do one live Wolfcast a week with hopefully an opposing fan. Obviously, when it's Patriots season, I'll do an opposing Patriots fan on the schedule starting next year when their 18-game schedule comes out. I'll try to pre-schedule fans ahead of time that I know, opposing fans and a fan of the Patriots with me. I want to do one live Patriots recap or post. And after the season's over, I want to do a panel with Bruins and Celtics fans or opposing fans once it gets to playoff season if both teams make it, which is a very big if right now. But anyways, if Red Sox season does happen, that obviously I haven't been able to talk about this. We had an issue where the players and the owners are fighting like they do every collective bargaining agreement's expired. So there may be no spring training. There may not be an opening day in April. So I may not get to talk about the Red Sox this year. My favorite moment was my best Wolfcast was when the Red Sox faced the Yankees in the one game wild card. And I know the Yankees so well because I hate them my whole life, whether it was from the I love Derek Jeter, whether it was from the Roger Clemens days, and you had people like Bernie Williams, who I always respected the hell of Derek Jeter, even though I hated Mariano Rivera and A Rod. But anyways, like the Boston, New York always brings out the best in me. And I also had a great time with my friends Joe and John from Tennessee to recap my first ever live Wolfcast with that Tennessee game. We talked about how not having Derrick Henry has been a huge blow for this Titans team out of the Patriots run defense. I love the addition of Matthew Judon. I also had a great time talking about the Tom Brady moments when they were playing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Has to be all time favorite because during the pandemic, more sadness happened in the city of Boston when Tom Brady decided not to renew his contract with the New England Patriots, citing differences with him and Belichick. He decided to take his talents to South Beach. Very emotional Wolf there. Been to a lot of games with Tom Brady. Both teams are doing well right now. Patriots are 9-5. We got a big, huge ass matchup the day after Christmas for the unofficial matchup for the AFC's title against the Buffalo Bills, which we defeated in that Windy Cindy Monday night game, where it was very windy with Mac Jones only throwing 3 pass attempts a game and they won. Buffalo has to feel embarrassed. I know they're huge wrestling fans, but I'll cover that. And when the Bruins season gets in full sway, I'll cover the Celtics and Bruins. I'll cover all the sports teams in a Spreaker style, but I'll do all the Patriots games in a live style. And once the Patriots season's over, I'll do live style with random fans. And you'll have me solo once a week on the Spreaker style. So we'll have 2 Wolfcasts a week going forward, starting in 2022. Hope to bring it to the next level. So we're trying to regionalize VSW, make most of Boston, try to carry those sports fans to independent wrestling, such as Chaotic, Limitless, or more. So please bear with me, folks. And Versace, are you back yet? He's trying to keep up, getting medicated. You know how get keeping up with the Versace stoner is. But I also am looking forward to next year. I'd like to thank you all so much for all these subscribers listening to us shorts throughout the year. Wolf's favorite holiday is Christmas, so I've been talking. Hopefully, we get to talk about that. It's been our longest podcast ever, and I don't care. It doesn't have to end. I had a lot of favorite moments, and you'll find out my Wolf Award later in the night. It's going to be someone who is underdogish, who is hilarious, and turns out to be most improved all in one. The Wolf Award, the VSW Wolf Award. I wonder who's going to win that. Only I know the answer. Not even Versace knows. Uh, Having a great time. I love the podcast. I've come a long way. Wasn't so much into indie wrestling because I felt lost, but it turned out to be such a great time. And I know it's a long video, but you guys can go back, watch this, and any clips you want. I can't wait for Bay's Bash next year. I think it's going to bring us to the next level. So I'm very excited. Versace, are you back yet? And no, I have not seen the new Spider Man movie. And I am trying to catch up on Christmas movies. Keeping up with yourself, eh? The weather outside's delightful. Just humming my Christmas songs in the meantime. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, it's fun riding in the whole wide world and sleigh. Hey, jingle bells, VSW all the way. Dancing through the snow, the
Love
wide
you,
open
Versace.
sleigh. I've been singing Christmas songs after I talked about Wolfcast Versace.
Were ya? That's great. I'm keeping up with myself. Oh, and what a time it has been. Let me tell you something, Wolf. It has been such a great
Yes.
year, though. I mean, honestly, I keep going back, thinking of all the action, all the excitement, reliving everything that we've done, all that we've accomplished. You know, the people we met, the people we've talked to, the people we see in person, all the fun, all the games, all the shenanigans. I mean, we've met some of the biggest jokesters, clowns, comedians. I mean, you got people out there doing comedy called like Tuck Daddy, right? You got other
Mm-hmm.
guys like John Alba coming out wrestling debut matches dressed like what? A football player. We
Oh
have
yeah.
other people like BRG who get in your face and
Shannon Thomas thinking he's the best. Well,
well,
he's just a clown.
Shannon Thomas probably is the best, but BRG getting in your face and
A little
destroying
mean
or trying
Kathleen
to
too
destroy
being
your
funny when
Bruins
she
hat,
wrestles.
trying to destroy your Bruins hat. All
Oh, that
that
was fun.
very
But
very funny comedic.
so
You know,
that's what the nominations for the Wolf Award is.
for the most comedic.
Yes, it has to be someone who's an kind of underdog. It's the most comedic. Is this is a surprising nomination, but he isn't going to win it. This person has gotten injured. From I'd have to say Maine's favorite referee, Ryan Greenleaf.
Yeah.
He especially when he accidentally kicked Charles Mason to get Anthony Green to win, and during the Circuit Ninjas versus Art, he ducked the whole time.
Oh yeah.
That guy's just hilarious. When Rich Palladino announces his name, comes up. Next nomination is Sidney
Now let
Bacabella.
me ask you something though. What's so
Yeah,
funny about Sydney?
he's
He's a
funny.
very serious man.
Really.
But go on, I'm listening.
It's just how he talks and how he yells at everybody, how everyone gets so bent out of shape when he talks.
Well, I mean, look at the world we live in. People get bent out of shape if you look at them the wrong way. Never mind if you can speak. And then if you speak your own opinion, I'll crucify you for crying out loud.
But Sidney can take all that.
Oh, Sydney's the man. Sydney's a tough guy. Sydney, you know, Undertaker got on there recently, a while back, and said he wished the locker room was the way it used to be or something. Well, guess what? That locker room is Sidney Bacabella. He carries a gun with him. He has a blade with him. You know, he don't care. You're gonna start with Sidney in the locker room. You're not even gonna get out of there alive, probably.
Why not?
Sidney's an old
I
school
found you.
worker. You're not gonna want to shoot on Sidney Bacabella. Okay, he's gonna, you know, we saw how he handled himself out in Jersey,
Yeah.
and it was pretty wild. So, I mean,
My next nomination is Mr. John Van Vliet. I mean, Mr. John Alba, leader of the prestigious. He's, believe it or not, I know it's hilarious to say, but he's the one who got me really interested in the role with all these backstage segments with Beck Daniels whining about him all the time.
really.
Yeah, it made me laugh so hard. But I got so excited when I found out he was a sportscaster when Pantsu booked us that interview. I was legit excited.
Well, I was excited for you because to be honest with you, um, I thought that you two would hit it off. Him being a sports guy, I knew he was from Florida, but he also was from up in here in this area.
He was born in Jersey,
I figured
New
you
York.
guys were gonna hit it off. It was kind of what you were looking for, that cross between, guess what? Independent wrestling and professional sports.
Exactly.
Um, it didn't quite turn out that way. I believe it or not. I mean, I'm a fan of Albert. I like what he does, but he also covers WWE a lot, covers the mainstream a lot. His sports are okay. He's not the greatest at covering them, in my opinion. Not because he's not dedicated. I just don't. I just think he's too broad. There is no like. He's not just. He's not a football man. Like he's not a baseball man. He's not a bat. He's an everything man.
He's a
And
big fan of baseball.
when you become an everything man,
Yeah,
you start to lose quality on like a certain thing. Now, like you got your wolf cast. Now, maybe you're an everything man a little bit, but not really. Your bulk of it goes into two things: football
yes,
first, and then hockey. After that,
exactly.
baseball, you're not really a big fan. You'll catch a little of this. Playoffs are different, and basketball is playoffs. I mean, otherwise you'd be covering all these games. You focus it down to that. Um, and it works. It works. I think that if Alba focused down a little bit, I think he could be great. I mean, he's already won an award, but I think he'd be even more great. He could even be prestigious in what he does.
But
Okay.
just like he didn't win the Villain Award, he was so close, but didn't come to win the VSW Wolf Award.
Nope. And
But I'm
he's
gonna
not gonna. He
announce
didn't
my
win the
winner.
William Award because at the end of the day, um, while he didn't, he avoids us. He doesn't actually do anything to harm us,
No, not at all.
and probably who knows? Deep down, he probably likes us because honestly, the first half of that interview with him went very well. I thought we were all on the same page. It all
Yeah,
stemmed from when you called the guy, or you mentioned the guy. You didn't even call him it. You just mentioned, "What do you think about Chris Van Fleet?" And it all went to hell after that. So
uh,
you
he
touched
looked
a
at
nerve.
us differently since then.
It touched a nerve, but
Even if we're nice and say hi to him, he'll still get upset.
oh, I was the nicest when I went to go talk to him. Um,
Yeah.
but keep going. Who else you got for nominees?
For nominees, I got Eric Greenleaf. I got Alba, Bacabella. Another one
What about
has
Abs? What about Abs? I mean, he had a
Abs
very.
is a nominee too, but we didn't get to really see him wrestle. That's a problem.
We didn't, but we had a very engaged. Well, I got to see him wrestle when I went to Wrestler's Laboratory. I don't know if you've watched any of that on IWTV because it's right before it aired. The whole thing with him happened, and well, I mean, we were
Yeah,
turned off from the product. I did actually go back and watch it because at the end of the day, I don't support promoters. I support wrestlers. And
exactly.
all the wrestlers that I like to talk about are on that show. So I am gonna not gonna exclude them. So I went back and watched it. Abs was there. I was there. Abs was a good wrestler. We had a very great interview though with him
And
on
he
the
had
VSW
COVID, so he didn't
podcast
get to
right
see him during
before
the pro.
Camp Leapfrog. Now, the Golden Grappler broke his arm,
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah, in front of Abby Jane.
Yeah, so he wasn't able to even like manage. But um I would say he's definitely in that category though. And
You know who else is in
if you
that?
follow him on social, he's hilarious.
Oh,
He
he's
was running
funny. He's
like the
like
account as
Alan Gardner from the Hanover.
for like he does, and he really does. And for the longest time, his name was like Dehio the Perry Von Vicious, which means the son of Perry, and he was actually like playing son of Perry. It was bizarre but very entertaining.
My
I
next
would.
nominee is going to go to Mr. Kevin Castro.
Oh my goodness, I love Kevin Castro.
He is so funny.
Ever since he really inspired me when he faked an injury for a
And he did a
GoFundMe.
GoFundMe, made so much money,
He
but
really
just to
showed.
get
I mean,
back at
I wish I
Lumberjake.
could be even as that successful in my GoFundMe ventures.
I don't think he's like a mean guy. I think he just likes to steal people's money and laugh.
So that's not being mean. That's just being what.
He's just greedy.
No, I get it. I get it. I honestly, I he loves money. Okay, I
Eh?
he'll take anything. I offered him $1 to leave. Um, just to leave the arena, and he took it and left. Um, he was selling 8x10s, and I think I bought one for 5. But then he wanted $1,000 to sign it. It's a picture of him and his mom.
More expensive than the Undertaker.
Yeah, I could have dinner with the Undertaker for 10K. I could book Hulk Hogan for 10K. I could book Hogan versus Tough Daddy in a KPW match. Which, speaking of that, that's kind of funny. I just out of care. I mean, I seen that Ref Mike posted on my wall. Who wants to have a match with Tough Daddy? Contact Versace Stoner for details. First person that hits me up is Tough Daddy.
Wow.
He says, "Hey, what is this all about?" I said, "I have no idea. Mike put this out." He says, "Okay, just wondering." And he was like, "I love the VSW podcast. Good show. Thank you, thank you. I will say thank you. I love that he listens to us.
Puff Daddy is a big supporter of
He
us.
is. But I have to write. You got to think. It says, "Who wants to have a match tough day?" So all these people start asking Rodney Bays when and where. I see my Mike goes, Bays Bash, Kansas. Bays like most deaf. Now, Tough Daddy already thought he was booked. He is booked, but I don't know if he was actually gonna face Rodney. I see our other good friend Cheeky. He goes, Dino Angel versus Tough Daddy in a hardcore ladder match. Book that match. I'll put 200 in the suitcase. Winner takes all. Oh,
Ooh.
okay. I like the sound of that. Says
Tough
Ref
Daddy
Mike.
wins. If Angel loses, he can never face Shiki again. That might be a good stipulation.
Uh, well, 200 will guarantee Tough Daddy to show up to the match. Anyways, and then
Uh-huh.
our good friend Dirtbag Dan. Well, I am the current Mass Hall champion. Let's dance.
Oh my god.
That's great. Shiki goes, I respect that, but the people want to see Tough Daddy get his butt kicked by the icon Dino Angel. I just wrote Tough Daddy fears Dirtbag Dan. I do believe that's true. In a little bit,
Yeah,
I
no
mean,
doubt
come on.
about that.
As soon as I brought the guy in, the guy got spooked a little bit and ran away. It's okay though. It happens. There's people that fear all sorts of people. Imagine the people that had to face Andre the Giant. You think all those people in their matches against Andre were the original participants against Andre? Probably not. The original people probably quit and they had to bring in new people last moment. Probably didn't even tell them they were facing Andre. Probably said they were facing, one of the other guys. And yeah, out it was. But not good. Not good at all. So, with your nominees, who did you pick?
All right, I got one more nominee. It's a dark horse nominee. We didn't see much of him except for the pre-show of Camp Leapfroggers. Chase Gold.
Good Chase Gold.
Every time he hits, he says his name out loud. That Warhorse took an impression from him.
You love that guy. We got to get him on the podcast.
Absolutely. I think we got to get him to a New England promotion. He wants to try some chowder. He's the
Ah,
best smelling man in professional wrestling.
promoters are listening. Let's bring him in. I mean, come on, Proving Ground, NCW, Limitless,
Pay
Chaotic,
this guy gas.
Top Rope, Beyond, bring Chase Gold, and will we see Chase Gold at Restival? Maybe.
Maybe, who knows? But my winner, Versace, my winner is someone that was an original supporter of us. We fell in love with him in the pandemic tapings. Literally, wait for it, Versace.
Waiting.
Wait for it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Luke Duke.
Well, that's a great choice, folks. And disabled. That's a great choice indeed. I can support that 110%.
Because he's everything. An underdog, he's hilarious. He's a wise ass outside the ring to us. He's the whole package, Versace, for this shit.
Love Doug is great. I enjoy seeing him
He always gets bullied too.
at every event that we go to. I enjoy seeing this guy.
Huge
And
fan of him. He's like the face of his pandemic tapings to me. If his never ending quest for love, whether it's Dave Everett, Bobby Jr., Megan Bain, he's never given up Versace.
no, well, why would he? Honestly,
He
why would
loved
he?
my
Think about it.
shoes. He loved JT Dunn.
He's loved everybody and he's had a lot of heartbreak, but he's come a long way and he's doing better and better. He's also beat Aver in some very hardcore, deathly matches.
I loved that match, the
He's
Canvas
overcome.
Death match.
He's overcome a lot of stuff. Okay. I love Doug. He's one of my favorite wrestlers out there, and he's a supporter of us. Well, we're a supporter of him as well.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say. This stuff is working both ways. What are you getting a little tired there?
Maybe.
Maybe we
This
make
is the longest podcast we've ever done, Versace.
maybe. Well, guess what? There's more awards to go, so I think we're gonna actually make this.
Absolutely.
They're actually gonna make this into a 2 night part event tomorrow night, being part two of our holiday special year and
We'll
wrapping it
talk more
up.
about the holidays too.
Yeah, we are. It is the holiday special. As the holidays are getting closer and closer, I still have to go Christmas shopping. Believe it or not, I haven't even started. Horrible. I
Oh
should get
yeah.
everybody an IWTV subscription. I'm waiting for NCW to release their season passes. Everybody gets a season pass, and we can call it
Yeah.
a day, right? I mean, what else do you really want in this world?
Yeah.
But I have to say, like I said, wild year, a lot of awards to give out, a lot of things. Love Doug's a great person. Like I said, it is a two-way street here with us, and 2222 is gonna be the same thing. We're gonna there's been a lot of people that supported us in this year. A lot of those people that you mentioned supported us. And we're going to return the favor even harder and more in 2022. We're going to kind of focus more of um, where we put our funds. In the past, we've kind of blindly um, sponsored and blindly bought and supported. I think we're going to do a little bit more focusing in that and choose where we put the money and where it goes into what wrestlers, what promotions, and why. And that will, I think, will help us in the long run. And we're gonna
Like
we're
we
gonna
got
do
to
it.
get a lot in return too. It can't just be name attached to a match and someone says it. You know.
Oh yeah, of course. And this year is gonna be a big year for the VSW podcast. It just really is. No other way to say it. I just have big feelings. But like I said, 2021 really, if anybody broke out big, I would say it's us. We did. We broke out big.
We
Um,
have the YouTube channel, barely any subscribers.
we had no subscribers and hardly views, and we busted out. And I hate to brag and boast about my YouTube. I just don't. I don't do it, but it is boast worthy. It really is. And
Hmm.
I have to say, I am very excited though for the future. And like I said, we're gonna have more awards tomorrow, like greatest champion.
We'll talk about some holiday stuff too if anyone wants to come the second half and talk holidays with us.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk some holiday stuff. But like I said, I still got some more categories to give out awards to for people. And
Mm.
like I said, I want to talk about who has the best merch and maybe even best shirt. There's a bunch of things that goes into
Absolutely.
wrestling.
We gotta
Best
do Superstar of the Year.
best theme song, all sorts of things. So we will talk about that tomorrow night in our second half of the VSW special holiday edition and year end awards. It's like you said, we are coming up on to almost the 3 hour mark here.
That is amazing.
Oh yeah, and but we got the Rodfather in there, and that was pretty cool. And I was been waiting to actually have him come on for a minute, and we just kind of got our times. You gotta remember he's in a different time zone. I'm in a different time zone, and so we just kind of had to get our times ready. But it did happen, and he came on, and like I said, I can't wait for Bay's Bash. We'll talk maybe a little bit more about that as well tomorrow. I also want to just talk about holiday tradition, what people do, where you're going, what you're gonna be doing. Are you doing anything this year? I mean, last year's holidays were kind of a bust.
Yeah, I didn't do anything really last year.
So let's see. Will this year be the same, or will this year's holiday kill the rest of the first quarter of 22? We don't know, and we will soon find that all out. But with all that, I thank everybody for tuning into this. Thank everybody for listening. Thank everybody for supporting the VSW podcast. I love it. We gained a lot of subs this year. We've gained a lot of new friends, and I have to thank a lot of people, for just kind of believing in us, sticking with us, and doing, just sharing us around as we share them. And I got a lot of mutual respect for the people in this game. Mashup Wrestling, great supporter of us, and I'm a great supporter of him. He does a lot of cool things with video, music,
Uh, Raised
just
by cassettes too.
all sorts of stuff. So, he's another counts, and got a lot of people you can check out. So, definitely, we will see you here tomorrow night. So, stay tuned, everybody. Part 2 of the VSW Holiday Special. Have a good night, everybody. I am the Versace
This
Stoner.